We are live, so we'll see how much latency there is.
That's not much.
Seconds. Hello, guys. Yeah, about 15 seconds looks like. Welcome, everybody. We are in a test mode. Don't really have anything in particular to talk about. I'm just trying out this new StreamYard. I guess you'd call it an app. It's web based, and it works really well with YouTube as well as Facebook. And it's pretty cool. I watched some videos on it this morning. It's going to be a very nice. Thank you, Steve, for the video and audio check. It's going to be a nice replacement, I believe, for what was the name of that other thing? Google something?
Google Hangouts, yeah.
I've already forgotten what it was. But anyhow, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad a few folks have shown up over there in the chat because I want to show you some things. The way this works, it has a chat window right on my screen, and I can actually come over here and show whatever you posted. Like this is Matt Haas's comment, StreamYard. It's pretty cool. I am really so much silver on the silver screen. Who let that guy in here? How you doing, Eloy? But yeah, this is I'm kind of digging it. It's I'll just go through some of the buttons. If I'm just by myself, I can do it like that. If I've got somebody else here, we can do the side by side. We can do the side by side with room for banners and stuff here. I haven't set any of that stuff up yet. If I've got a couple of guests, you can do it like this. Just really kind of neat. I'm really digging it. This is also the free version, and because of that, I get to see this little logo there, but I'm okay with that for now. If this works like it looks like it's going to work, I may even ante up I think it's $20 a month if you pay for a year in full, and $25 a month if you pay it monthly, I believe. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I need to check into that too. But yeah, so far this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it. And I was telling Mark earlier, because we've been on here for playing around about 30 minutes, I guess, before we went live. And I really like it because, a lot of times when I'm taking questions, from the chat, now when somebody posts a question in the chat, I can just come over here and hit this and it'll show right up where everybody can see it. And that way, even somebody that's coming back later and watching this, 3 or 4 days from now, they don't have to go, well, wait a minute, he just answered, but I don't know what the question was, unless before I've always had to kind of read the question off and then answer it. So I am really, really digging this. I'm going to send an invite. I see somebody out there in the chat. I'm going to send another invite, just see if we can squeeze it up. I know you're supposed to be able to do up to 6 people. So let me see if I can do this.
Okay. Yeah, I know my glasses are reflecting my screen, and I apologize for that. I can't remember how to turn YouTube dark. I'll dig into that and figure it out. And I did try to do this without glasses. I've got a big monitor in front of me and just no go. I can't see the keyboard to type, and I can't read what the comments are.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. That's one of the. I mean, look when I wear my glasses, you see the 2 squares for the screen right here.
Yeah.
But sometimes I got to put them on just to see what the heck I'm doing. But
exactly.
I really like this because, like I said, I always pop out the chat over there and make it big enough that I can usually read it without my glasses. But what they put right here, right, right in front of me. Now I won't have to sit here and turn my head this way all the time. I'm really, really pretty excited about this stuff. I like it. Here comes Jack wanting to make a cameo. Does it? Let's see. Oh, well, I guess I can read your comment over here. Let's put your comment up here. It says, "Does it show highlighted comments on the StreamYard screen?" Well, yep, it does.
It shows them all over the place.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. They'll show up in the video then if I highlight it, so anybody that's watching it later can see what question that was. So, all right. Well, what are we going to talk about now?
I have no idea.
I mean, I've already shown everything I know about this. It's super easy. It's that's one thing I liked about it. I watched some videos this morning. I was kidding Mark saying, since I didn't have a Mark Lindsay CNC video to watch at 0700, I had to kill some time. So I watched some videos and from the founders of this StreamYard stuff. And it's two young guys. I mean, one guy, I swear he looks like he's about 16. But the other guy, Gage, said his name was Dan. He's a co-founder. And I'm like, good Lord, he looks like he's still in high school. But these guys are on the ball. Apparently, this is a new big thing. And I guess, especially now that Google Hangouts on Air has decided to quit. Yeah. Yes, it can screen share. Matt, have you tried this? I don't know why I keep looking over there. I'm not used to being able to see them right here.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Matt, when he does his, he might, I don't know, do you use OBS or whatever? I had to use OBS last night, my first time ever, and it was okay, but I don't like not being able to have guests. And then this is just super cool. So, all right. Well, since we're here, we'll talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. We got the Vectric expert in the house tonight. So,
no, don't brand me with that, man.
Yeah, Matt says, let me see, put it up here. He says he uses OBS with the show he does with Brenda's channel. He uses StreamYard. Well, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, somebody says, Mark, you're not wide now, making reference to my live earlier today. I'm still wide. I just got the camera figured out.
Yeah. He says, Mark, switch to using Windows with a dark background. I don't know. I had a question for Mark. It's kind of
okay,
not CNC related, but I keep looking at that. I guess that almost looks like a parlor guitar behind your shoulder there. Oh, is that a silver tone?
The red one there?
Yeah.
That is an old Montgomery Ward airline that my wife got for her 12th birthday.
Wow.
And she has packed that thing around everywhere. So I've cleaned it up, oiled the fretboard. The bridge has got a problem with it. I need to make one. And then I'll replace that bridge. But she's had that for, since she was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So, and her kids rode all over the pit yard on everything, so she wants to keep that as is. So,
you missed what I said. You said she's had it since she was 12. I said, oh, so it's about 20 years old, huh?
Oh yeah, 20. It's about 20.
It looks, I like it, but it almost makes me think that maybe that pick guard's been replaced because it doesn't look like the original pick guard.
No,
go with it.
That's the original pick guard.
Is it?
Yeah, And like I said, her kids wrote their names on it and everything. So, it's dirty, it's filthy. We've never cleaned it up. So, um, I have wiped it down. I did oil the fretboard. It needs to be oiled again. But as soon as I get that bridge fixed, I'll restring it, and she'll be all set. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guitars and a mandolin in here, and I don't play nothing but the stereo.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's about the way I am. I don't play much. I mean, I do, but not where anybody can hear me. Where I'd run them off. But
yeah, I can make musical noises to entertain myself, and that's good enough for me. I can sit out on the back porch and not bring an amp with me and just kind of plink around with it, and it sounds good to me.
Yep. I got one of the old cigar boxes that I guess it's like the first one I built after I started building them again.
Yeah.
Keep it right next to my recliner, and I'll pick it up and pick around it, during a commercial or something.
Yeah.
But not anything anybody would want to hear. Jim Bashir says we look good on a cell phone at a pizza place. So
pizza? Did you bring enough to share there, Jim? Yeah, that little one there, the little brown one right next to the to my wife's airline. That's the first one I ever built.
Is that a Java box?
That's a Java box.
Yeah, that's the one I keep next to my chair in there. It's a little Java box.
It's acoustic only. It's not fretted. It's just a little 3-string slider. But it's surprisingly loud for such a little box. So
yeah,
it works.
That's one thing I'm wanting to build, and I for some reason every time I build one, I always put frets on them. But I want to make one for myself. A fretless and string it a little high, and because I got a slide.
Yeah,
I
got a bunch of them.
And when I try to play slide with the other ones that have the lower action, it's just clank, clank.
Yeah.
So that's not good. So,
yeah. I think the first 10 I built were all fretless because, like everybody else, I was intimidated by fretting. I'm a cabinet guy and furniture guy. I'm used to a 16th inch builder's tolerance, and when you got to get that accurate, I mean, I really honestly thought it was going to be above my abilities. But I mean, with some of the software, there's a website called Find Fret or Fret Finds, one of the two. If you Google it, you'll find it, and it'll figure out all the fretting all the marker positions and everything else, and then print you up a full size template. And you just print it up on standard paper in your printer. Make sure you turn off any scaling. Don't size to fit. You want it to print 100% full size. Cut those scales out, tape them onto your fretboard, and just start sawing. And it's real.
I don't want to ignore our folks out there in the chat, so I'm going to play with this button again. We have a question from Mr. Escajado.
Uh-oh.
Says, guitar making thoughts from the two of you. Can you CNC a neck and other parts? I'll let you go first, Mark. You take that one first.
Yes, you can if you know how to model one, and that's what I'm working on now. That was the whole reason I got into CNC, was I wanted to make guitars. I don't know why, but I just wanted to. Well, I know why. My grandson wants too many. But yeah, you can. I just haven't gotten that far yet. But that was the whole reason for getting into this.
Yeah. Okay, now my take on that is can you CNC a neck and other parts? The short answer is yes, but I would never make a neck with the CNC because it is faster to shape one with a good, what do you call that, Shinto file or whatever that thing is. Mm-hmm. You can really knock the stuff off of it and have it into a shape and way quicker than a CNC. That's the only problem with a CNC. Well, at least the hobby CNCs, you get a big industrial one like Gibson or Fender has. Well, sure, you can knock them out. But for what we're talking about,
Right.
just the time to model it to start with, is going to take forever. And then even if somebody gave you the model, just to do it on a rotary axis and stuff, it'd be pretty, but it'd be a lot slower than just doing it the old-fashioned way. Now, other parts, I make trim rings for pickups, and of course, I do fretboards. I still hand cut them with a fret saw, but I use the laser to mark the fret lines, and then I will laser engrave custom fret markers.
Right.
Somebody wants something special or whatever. So, but yeah, next, I don't think I'd ever try to.
I like the idea of cutting the profile, the outside profile, and like on a flat fender neck where you have that big scoop up front where it thins down, transitions from the neck to the headstock, and then routing the truss rod channel. I think that would be good on a CNC, but shaping the back and what have you, there are so many different profiles. I mean, you could, if you flipped it over and did the back, you could route a small area on the back. Like if you wanted a nice D-shaped neck, you could route a couple of 3 spots along that neck just to give you that good D shape, and then come along. You use a Shinto file. I cheat. I use an angle grinder and a flap disc.
Well, I have one of those. A lot of times, because most of the time I'm making, the 1.5 inch wide necks for a 3 or 4 string guitar. But what I do is I have my biggest roundover bit in my little Porter cable. So I'll use that to kind of get it started. And then I have these other tools that I've made where I use my CNC and made a radius and cut a bunch of pieces of plywood, stack them together and glue them together, and then put a piece of, actually I've got 4 of them, and I have different grits of sandpaper.
Right.
And you just take them and start going up and down, and man, it don't take long to finish.
It doesn't. It doesn't take long at all, and I bring it to rough shape using faceting. Just basically, I've used a 1/2 inch roundover bit, and I got a big 45 degree chamfer bit. I've used both of those to get that original, that real deep bevel in it, and then come along and with it's a farrier's file for horseshoeing, and this sucker will take some skin off. I mean, it's almost like using saw blades, and just all the sharp edges that are left, I just knock those down and then come back and knock them down a little more and come back, and everywhere I got a sharp point, the next thing you know, you've got a nice smooth neck. But I actually enjoy that. And the hand carve in the back of the neck is a lot of fun to me. And I can also fine tune that transition, because that's the hardest part. A lot of folks you can see a guitar neck fairly easy, but making that transition between the heel and the back of the neck, and that transition between the back of the neck and the headstock, that's the hard part. And I prefer to do that by hand, because you can kind of tweak it and fine tune it. And it doesn't take much. I mean, it looks real intimidating. It doesn't take much.
Yeah. Let me interrupt you here for a second. We've got another excellent question from my Raspberry Pi buddy, Ryan Ballard.
There you go.
Says, so this new setup, do guests need to download a new app? No, the cool thing with this is, and like I said, this is, like with the Hangouts, you'd send somebody a link and they really didn't have to do anything if they already had the plug-in for Chrome, and if they already had that. If you didn't have that, it would prompt them to download the plug-in and install that. This is all web-based. So, I mean, I basically open this up. It's got a little button here that says invite, and then the link comes up. It says copy to your clipboard. I went to Facebook, sent it to Mark. He clicked it, and boom, he's here. If you want to try it, Ryan, I'll send you the link right now. If you're where you can, if you're at a computer or something, let me go back over here and open up Facebook again. I invited somebody else a while ago, but they must not have been where they could come on. They might have been on their phone or something. Let's see, where is that Ryan Ballard fella? Y'all hear him slurping? That's not me. That's my dog sitting down here beside him. He's
sure, Dave. Blame it on the dog. Yeah, Gussie Banjo asked me, what am I setting the neck angle? It depends on the pickups and the bridge I'm using. If it's a flat neck like a Fender or something like that, I'll go 1, maybe 2 degrees. If it's something like a Les Paul where I'm using a tall bridge, right around 5 degrees.
When I set my neck angle, I have a pretty scientific method to get that angle. I used a couple of quarters to prop it up so that when the CNC comes in to do the neck pocket, it's now deeper on that front end, so it'll make the neck set like that. So on some things I use 52 cents. So if I'm doing a Fender style or something that's got to be almost flat with just a little bit of back angle, I just use 2 quarters, not stacked on top of one another, but whatever the thickness of a quarter is. So that's my high tech method.
Yeah. I've been planning on doing a video on the molding toolpath forever. The molding toolpath is your friend. It'll cut that angle. So some people like the fluting toolpath. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, I'm doing this on the phone, so it's
well, the quality is obviously not going to be that great, but you can see how easy it was to join us.
Yeah, it's very easy.
So they
said that the mobile stuff is experimental, so it's still not fantastic, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. So, since you're on here, how's the progress on the shop coming?
It looks the same as it did last time.
I saw some poles and you were getting the roof on, I think, the last time.
I have the roof is all on except for one piece on the ends. And that is because the wind took one of the pieces and destroyed it. So I have to get another sheet of metal for the one side. Let's see here. I'm going to try to flip. Let's see if it works. There it is. So it's just the roof right now still. But I did get rocks for the base, for the concrete and all that good stuff. And, so it's coming along. Not too bad.
Yeah. How big are you building it?
It's a 30 by 50.
Oh, I got shop envy big time.
Well, the front half, the first 30 feet are going to be from car stuff, and then the back half is going to be my wood shop and stuff like that. So
okay, now you're just showing off.
No, it's taken a year to get to this point, so it's.
I hear you. I'm with you.
Slow process.
I'm with you. I've been trying to break ground on a new shop for a year. And it's just not going to happen yet.
Yeah, solar stuff has been really crazy this year, so it's been keeping me busy. This is my 1 day a week that I've taken off, so it's been pretty nuts. I haven't been able to use my CNC for over a month.
Wow.
I have some stuff I need to carve. I just need the time to go down there and do it.
Well, it doesn't get any easier. I retired a little over a year ago, and I need to go get a job so I can get some rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Exactly. So yesterday it was so hot that I came home from work, and I was out working for about 12 hours between a couple different sites, and when I got in my truck to come home, I had changed my shirt 4 times, and my shorts were dripping, and I wasn't in a pool. So I came home and just fell into the pool.
Yep.
So,
I hear you.
Yeah, in
right,
case.
well, I'm going to jump off if that's okay.
Okay, well, wait. Before you do, I want to try out this button. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, I'm just like a kid with a new toy. I want to try out these buttons.
Sideways. Yeah.
But
oh man.
But yeah, it's gonna dump me off here in a second because I'm just low on battery.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, I appreciate you jumping in here and checking it out. So be planning on when you want to come on the show again, because I'm sure you probably got some new Raspberry Pi stuff to talk about, because you are an admin for that group there, and maybe you come on and answer more questions
really quickly. People seem to like my question if they like llamas. I get some interesting responses to that question. So
yeah.
I couldn't think of another question. It was just like, all right, are you interested in Raspberry Pi? Sure. What else? Do you like llamas? Sure, that works. So there's actually a story behind that, but it's
dangerous question in this house, man. My wife prefers alpacas, but llamas are okay.
I am an alpaca fan as well. I've been talking to my wife. We were thinking about getting some, and then I'm going to name our property here Alpakistan.
Alpakistan. There you go. There you go. That's not creepy at all. But see, you can do the best of both worlds, because you can get a llama to act as like a guard dog. They're actually very good guard dogs, believe it or not.
Yeah. I've seen some videos of them like attacking dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're territorial.
Yeah. All right, so I'm jumping off so I can go plug my phone in.
Okay, Ryan. Thanks for popping in here. Appreciate it, buddy.
Take care.
Okay, we have another question here. Let's see. Troy Pritchard wants to know, can you make the panel guests be the large picture when they are speaking? Yeah, you can. I got to wait for the delay over there because there we go.
Yee. Not that guy. Yeah, see, up the live stream has the controls. So only Dave can do all that fancy funny stuff. I can just sit here and say, Dave, what are you doing? Why you make me so big?
Yeah. But I do like I gotta hit it over here. I do like this though. It's
very cool.
I think of all the things that that I like about it is, one, it's super easy. It doesn't take anything to go in there and set it up, and I came in here. I tell Mark I was out there in the garage, and I thought, oh shoot, it's about 7:30. So I came in here and just started it up, and it's boom. It's so easy to get started in it. Sent Mark the link. He just clicked on it and come in, and the side-by-side thing is cool. I like that. I much prefer that. When you have people on here and everybody's seen, and with the old Hangout thing, like I said, if you had 6 or 8 people on there and you're holding up something to try to show it, and then somebody else coughs, the camera always jumped to wherever the sound was. So, unless you had it presenting on them. So I think I like this much better. And this little feature right here, that is what I really like. Being able to highlight the question. It shows up in the video. Let's see, but Dave's picture wasn't showing small when he did it. Oh, you want Mark big and me small? Well, let's see. I don't know if I can.
Nobody wants that.
I don't know. There's a way to do that.
Yes, it is free, Michael.
Yeah, this is the free version. There's, yeah, I see Michael Chips was in here. The one of the things with the free version is you have to deal with this little logo up here, which,
Yeah.
Yeah, right there where Mark just pointed. But that's not that big a deal. It's not too obnoxious. And then the other thing is if you want to upgrade, it's like $20 a month if you pay for the full year. So that'd be what, $240 or something.
$200-something, yeah.
And it's $25 a month, I think, if you want to pay it monthly.
And that gives you a bunch of other things, like it gets rid of that logo up there and lets you put your own logo in. You can do various backgrounds and overlays and what have you, and a lot more graphics that you can add to it. I mean, I guess you can add some to it now. I don't know how much.
Yeah, I haven't even. This is why I wanted to do this test, just to see, if it worked and how easy it worked, and
right,
it's just super easy. But there's buttons up here for banners and brands that I haven't even played around with yet. So
yeah. But this is cool. You've had a couple people asking, have you tried screen sharing yet?
We can try that. Let me get something else. Let's see. I was trying to see. Let me get something else to look at.
This is actually pretty cool. I think Eloy and I are going to try it for our podcast and check that out. I think it'll work out just great for us.
Let me just let me try to pull something up here. Let's see what I'll do.
Picture of the dog, anything.
Yeah, I'll. All right, I'll just pick this picture. This doesn't matter what it is. Okay, now let me come back over here and hit the screen share button. Or screen sharing is easiest with two monitors. Well, I don't have the other one hooked up. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. Because this is my first time clicking on it. It's got that "don't show these tips again" that I
right.
Okay, so let's see what happens. That looks where it's asking if it wants to do your entire screen or the application window.
Mm-hmm.
That looks exactly like. Okay, this is what I was going to show. This is just a picture of. Yeah, looks like it's working over there on the YouTubes. So there's that.
And it keeps the cameras up as well. That actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this. Yeah, so that worked. Simple enough.
Richard Kowalski wants to know if he has to pay to watch and chat. Yes, but only you. You're the only one that has to pay to watch and chat. No, just messing around. No, this is there's two versions of this software is what Dave was saying. You can use the free version, which we're using now, or you can do the subscription, and it opens up more features and what have you.
Yeah. Jack, will you go on? You're bugging me.
Feed me now.
Let's see. Eloy says it does look better than Hangouts look from the viewer's perspective. Yeah, right now I just can't see any downside to it other than that little logo thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it's free, why shouldn't they want to put their logo on something if they're the one footing the bill? But
really,
like, you can still do some banners and branding and other thing. You just can't cover up that. You can put it everywhere else. But I like. I mean, you guys are not seeing my. I guess I can't screen share and show you this screen. because it gives you that infinity thing. But up in the upper left-hand corner, it's got a little counter. It says I'm live, been live for 35 minutes and 4 seconds. It's got the little eyeball thing to tell me that there's 36 people watching. And of course, this chat thing is just, I still can't get over that. I keep catching myself looking over here when I don't need to. It's right here.
Yeah, same here. I got a laptop set up over here, and it's just a waste of time.
So you can see the chat as well?
No, I'm watching on YouTube. I'm not watching on StreamYard.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
So yeah, I'm seeing what every other viewer would see, and the image quality is better than from the Hangouts. The layout is a lot better, and I like it. As a viewer looking in from YouTube, I like it a lot better than I did the old Hangouts.
Yeah. Well, after I got off last night, I told you, because then you messaged me and we got on a hangout and was talking about some stuff. But I went back in there, and because I wanted to see how that OBS stuff, because I had the chat window pulled in there and people were saying, well, it's too small, you can't see it and all. Well, like I said, I watch a lot of live streams on my big TV,
right.
It's easier to sit there. Now I can't chat. I have to open up my phone or something to do that.
Right.
But I went in there and started rewatching my stream from last night. And of course, with a 65-inch screen, you can see the chat just fine. So there's a lot of things about the OBS that I still like. That's being able to change, transition between those scenes and stuff like that, and do a lot of other cool stuff. I like that, but you can't have a guest. So, unless you do the Skype thing, whatever. And I can tell you right now, I don't like Skype. I've used Skype before, and I don't think I've ever used it where somebody hadn't dropped a call. Either it dropped on my end or on the other person's end or whatever. So I'm not a fan of Skype.
I've not used Skype much at all. So it's kind of just one of those things. The live streaming I intend to do, I don't know that I'm going to have any guests. It's just be questions and answers basically from the viewers. But, I think I may stick with the OBS, but if I do have a guest, I'll come along over here to StreamYard and use this. Eloy and I, for our podcast, for the Trampled Underfoot podcast, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Is we're going to use this.
Yeah, William Maggart, let me highlight his question here. He says, "Can we help you with the annual cost by clicking on the dollar in the chat?" That's the super chat. I never get super chats. I won't say never. I've had a couple, but I bet it's been a year since somebody did a super chat, and I don't even ask or point it out that it's there. I appreciate somebody asking that question, saying, "Yeah, we can help you," but I'm not worried about that. If I get ready to get the paid version of StreamYard, I'll get it regardless. I'm not going to try to pass that cost on to my viewers.
But I'll say it for Dave because he won't say it, and nor should he. But super chats are always appreciated by everybody who does a live stream. So if you want to do that, it is appreciated, but it's definitely not needed, not necessary.
Yeah, I used to joke sometimes. I go, I don't know, I'd say, "Hey, somebody better click on that." So I don't think that button's working.
Yeah,
because I don't even bother saying that anymore. But it's nice, and I appreciate you know, if somebody does it, but I don't ever even bring it up. It's not a big deal.
It's a great way to support the show. You know, if you want to show your appreciation, tip $1 or $2, great. But it's definitely not mandatory.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always like it. I see we've got 40 people watching right now, and that is one thing you can't see from this. You can't see your thumbs up, or at least I don't think it's on here anywhere. But now we got 11. So yeah, I appreciate the thumbs up probably just as much as somebody sending a super chat. You know, let's see. I had another question there. Mike, hi to you. Dave, what time is it now? Just to check my lag. Well, let's see. It's according to my computer, it's 8:42. So when we first started, when we turned it on, there was about a 15, 16 second lag between when I clicked the button and I saw it over here on my laptop starting to come on. So that's not bad. In fact, that's about what Hangouts was. So Landis Stute has a question for you, Mark. He says, how can I send you a private question about Carbon Mach 3?
Very easy. Go to my website, marklindseycnc.com, and hit the contact us link. And just make sure you use a valid email address where it asks you for an email address. It'll send me an email and I'll answer that. So that's where you go to get a contact with me. That's marklindseycnc.com.
Yeah, and there we go. We got a $5 super chat from William Maggard. Thank you, William. I appreciate it. Like I said, I wasn't going to ask for anything like that, but I do appreciate it. Every little bit helps.
Heck, I'll ask for it. This stuff gets expensive.
I'm just not. I'm just not used to getting them. So that's the first one I've gotten probably a year. I'll bet. So,
well, you got me beat. I've never had one, but then again, I live stream just every once in a while. So, but that's getting ready to change.
Yeah, well, I live stream quite a bit, and that super chat button's always there, and
yeah.
Like I said, I don't even mention it. It don't matter to me. I'm going to do them whether I get any super chats or not, probably. So,
well,
I'm super stoked about this because I had, I knew that the Hangout thing was coming to an end. And I guess I just didn't want to believe it, but then when it happened, and I'm thinking, oh crud, because I had already got a couple of people that I'm really wanting to have on as guests, and I'm thinking, okay, now what I'm going to do? But now here we are, one day later, and looks like the problem's solved. So this stuff is. We got another $5 super chat.
Oh, holy cow!
Get in.
Dang.
I don't even know who that is. VZP38W.
38W. How about a first name so we know what to call you, man?
Yeah. I hate those crazy usernames.
My problem is I can never remember them. Mike. Okay.
Mike. There you go. Mike. Now, I may not remember that next week or the next time I see you. It took me forever to learn that the wood bucket is Gary Brady, and I'm still not even sure. I think that's who it is.
Well, my problem is my memory, because if I come up with something, I'm getting in there and I'm going, let's see, super spy, that's what I'll do. I know, I'll be the Raven, and you make up this persona and everything else, and then I go in to log in a month from now, and I'm like, what was I? Was I the eagle? Was I the hawk? What the heck was I?
Yeah.
I can never remember that stuff. So I just figure if I forget my own name, it's time to shut everything off and go home. So,
yeah. Well, I guess I'm just weird because from day one on YouTube, I think my first thing was D Gatton, or it might have been DJ Gatton. I can't remember. I think, yeah, it might have been DJ Gatton. But then after they made it where you could change it, I thought, well, I don't, I don't want to have Dave's Workshop or something, so I'd rather just have my name, because, it wouldn't really do for me to try to say Dave's Workshop or Dave CNC, because I do so many different things. And I thought, well, I'll just do my name. And if people don't like that I do different things, and, they click on a video thinking it's going to be this and it's something else, sorry. That's,
yeah, exactly. And my mood changes too. One day I'll be in a rather jovial mood and just want to be jokey and everything else, but then I'll come up with something and then look at it in another month and go, well, that was just stupid. What were you thinking? And so I figure going this way, it's easier for everything and everybody.
Troy says if this show wasn't named Dave Gatton, I probably wouldn't remember Dave's name. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering my name. All right. Well, we've been on here now, according to this thing, 46 minutes and 20 seconds. And we haven't done nothing but goof around. I can't believe there's that many people watching me and you talk about nothing.
Yeah. And everything.
This was, like I said, this was just a test that I wanted to do. And I figured they do have a way, if anybody's thinking about using this, they have a way to set up a test broadcast, and you can make it private where nobody else sees it and all that. But I figured, what the heck, I'll just go ahead and do it. That way I can see how it looks here, how it looks on my laptop. And so far, I'm really digging it. John Revel says he likes it too. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Tom Conway says that we're reaching Alaska. Oh, I guess I should click. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for joining us, Tom. Let's see. Yeah, works great. I'm glad you found us. Yeah, and I was really kind of bummed because I was telling somebody, it might have been Mark, but I knew every time I would do a live stream on Hangouts, a few weeks ago, it would always pop up and say, hey, this is going to end August 1st. Well, to me, that means when August 1st gets here, it's done. But apparently it worked through August 1st, because I went to set up the live stream the other day, and that button was still available to use that. Now, I don't know what would have happened if I had tried to set it up there. Probably wouldn't have worked later. But then for some reason, I forget, something come up and I didn't have my thumbnail ready or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, then I'll come back and do it later. Well, then when I went back the next day, that button was not even available. So somebody's dinging me here.
Yeah, I went to schedule a live because I didn't have a video set up for this morning, and I just ran out of time. And there's, Google Hangouts on air is no longer available. And I thought, uh-oh. So I had to dive into it and do a crash course. And I'm using Streamlabs OBS. So I had to do a crash course on that and was able to get it done. So, but there is a way to use, I think I may keep using the OBS for just me. There is a way to just go live with your webcam. But again, you can't have guests. And using the webcam, I don't think you can share screen. So that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because 2/3 of what I do, I have to share the screen.
Since we've been on the air here now for almost 50 minutes. I'm looking at this counter, and as soon as it gets to 50, I'm going to scratch my head.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to watch and see what the latency is when I see myself scratch my head. Here we go. 9 seconds.
Wow.
So that's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick. Yeah, much better.
But yeah, I'm glad to see. Like I said, I wanted to test this for myself, and also, like I said, I didn't expect 40 people to get on here, but I'm glad there's a bunch of people because we're getting some good positive remarks.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody out there that's watching it have anything negative at all to say about not about us particularly, but
Yeah, I need a haircut.
this format and the way the picture is and all that. Yeah, Steve says lag is lower because it's a web-based system. Yeah, and that's one of the videos I was watching when I was watching those young men that are the founders of this. They were saying that because of that, you don't really have to have a super jacked up computer either.
No, you don't.
Which makes it nice because a lot of times when you have a guest on there, if they don't do this for real, they might not have a real fast computer or whatever. So,
yep.
So, but I am really.
Yes, Dave, I do have hair. Sometimes too much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're getting some. Everybody seems to like this better. If they said no, it's not like we could go back to the old.
Yeah, really.
So it kind of is what it is. But like I said, I'm really liking this, and I probably will eventually get the paid thing. Maybe, I don't know. It's that logo thing. Like I said, I'm not really bugged by that.
Yep.
If I had done all the programming and stuff that those two little guys had done and come up with this, I'd probably want my name on it too. So
sure, definitely, and it's not obtrusive. It's hidden up there in the top right corner of the screen. It's not like it bounces all over the place or it's right in the center or anything. I mean, it's out of the way.
Steve Atkins says, is there a limit of viewers? From what I understand, you can have 10 people, but only 6 in the, on the screen at the same time. And I think, I don't know if he's still out there. Matt Haas was saying something about you can have 10, but only 6 at a time. And of course, I'm assuming, because when we had Ryan on there a while ago and it's, kind of split, and now there was 3 of us. I'm assuming that if we kept getting people to come on, we just keep getting a little thinner and thinner until it have all 6 of us on there.
Right. But as far as viewers, there's no limit to how many people can watch. It's just a limit to how many people Dave can have as guests.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if that. I was assuming that's what he meant. He just does say a limit of viewers, but I was assuming he meant people on the show.
That's what I thought. I thought he meant people watching.
There's no limit at all on that. You can get your aunts and uncles and cousins and all that come watch it.
In fact, if you look right down below me, there's a share button. You click on that share button. Link to this on your Facebook, your Twitter, your everything, your Instagram, all your social media. And the more the better, the more the merrier.
Again, this is my first time using this, and I've got, I've got 54 minutes experience now. I'll get to your question here in just a second, William. But now I forgot what I was going to say. Where was I going with that, Mark?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and take William's question. He says, can I ask a CNC question? Well, I don't know. We got a couple of CNC guys here. We might be able to bluff our way through it. Go ahead.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the question. And I still can't think of what I was going to say.
I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting on William, if you don't mind, Dave, George Rothfuss asked me, what did I do to customize my Gatton CNC? I did several things. I added the rotary axis out front. I added the little tramming plates to the sides of the Z box. And then the other thing I did, oh boy, when I cut out the front and rear panels for the gantry, I had them extend over past the uprights by 4 inches per side to make it easier to assemble and give me a little bit more X capacity there. And that has helped out a little bit. I didn't have to make the table as wide as I thought I was going to make it. Just by making those overhang 4 inches on each side, I got a little bit more X capacity that way.
Okay, we've got William's question. And since he was gracious enough to send me a super chat, I dang sure better answer his question. So his question is, how did you cut the keyhole on your aluminum mount for your laser? Well, I don't have that mount with me, but I have, this is the first one I did. And then I decided I needed to make it bigger. So I actually cut a second one. But, you know, cutting a keyhole, well, I mean, you'd still do it the same way if this was wood, because it's all the way through. It's not the kind of keyhole you use with a keyhole bit. But I used a 1/8 aluminum up spiral to cut all of this. So it was just, you know, it's just a keyhole was drawn, and then I just told it to pocket it all and go all the way through. So,
was that an O-flute bit for? No,
it was a old raggedy 1/8 inch up spiral, you know, little
okay.
bit. Nothing fancy, just you know.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how that is. There's no smoke and mirrors to do that keyhole. It's just like doing a regular hole and tell it to pocket.
Okay. And then you countersunk it on your drill press, right?
Yeah, all of these countersinks, I keep moving that the wrong way. All these countersinks that you see, in fact, I didn't even waste the time to peck that hole all the way through. I just did it, you know, I don't know, 40 or 50 thousandths, just enough to mark it. Mm-hmm. And then I went and drilled the hole with the drill press and then used my drill press to countersink. That's quicker than waiting for the CNC to do all that. Plus, you'd have to do a tool change just for that countersink. It's not, you know, you got to remember, and I always tell folks this, and Mark knows it, just because you can do it with a CNC doesn't mean it's the best way to do it. The CNC isn't really the best way to do everything.
I know folks who they'll take a piece of plywood and just cut out square shapes, and I'm like, you can do that on the table saw.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
A lot quicker probably on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's not a blind. Yeah, William thought it was like a blind hole. But yeah, it goes. You can see it goes all the way through.
Yeah.
So, anywho, do we have any other questions out there that I missed?
Yeah, Patrick's Workshop wants to know, how does he get his Gatton CNC to build itself?
Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe you could 3D print something to, you know, 3D print your robot to build it or something. I don't know.
I would advise against 3D printing your own fasteners. You should probably use steel.
Yeah. Yeah. Or yeah, don't 3D print your own angle and all that stuff. Don't even get me started on 3D printing. All that making somebody mad.
Now you know somebody out there's 3D printing in the lead screw.
Yeah. Well, you remember when I had mine, I 3D printed one. I probably threw it away because I threw most of that stuff away. But I 3D printed one 6 inches, and the way it 3D prints it, it prints it, you know, going vertically. And I'm thinking, and I can't even remember how god awful long it took just to do 6 inches. Now, granted, once it got done, it worked. I mean, it would go through the nut and stuff like that. But I'm like, good Lord, you know, this stuff takes forever. But anyhow, yeah, it's kind of why I don't have 3D printers anymore. I'm not a patient guy. Not a patient guy.
Me either. I mean, Patrick, God bless him, God love him. He printed me up several things when I got the K40 laser, which is no longer here. And I mean, we talk on Hangouts and this, that, and the other. And he says, "Oh, that ain't bad. It's only a 40-hour print." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And just, geez, I don't have that kind of patience either. You know, but it's like you say, the CNC is not the right tool for every job. I mean, if you got to drill 3 holes, grab the handheld drill and go for it. If they need to be in a certain position, put it on the drill press. If you got to drill 73 of them, all of different sizes, then the CNC is a good option. Yeah.
Ryan Ballard says, let me show it here. He says, I think Peter Pasuelo, spelled wrong, that's close, has posted the G code for using a keyhole bit on the CNC. You know, Mark's done a video on how he does a keyhole. There's a gadget that I've never used, but to me, I think I always kind of laugh when people are talking about, you know, can you give me the code for a keyhole bit? It's 4 freaking lines is what it is.
It's not much at all.
It's 4 lines of G code, and when you really stop and think about it, you go, oh yeah, I could have just wrote that. I've had a little program called a keyhole thing, you know, and whenever I need to put something on the back of a project, I would just, you know, mark where I wanted it and then line it up, you know, center it where my little mark is, and all the 4 lines are, it comes down, it goes up, it comes back, and it comes up again. And that's it. It's 4 lines.
Yep.
So, you know, now if you're doing it in a nest of something, yeah, then you probably need to do it a different way, but it's not a complicated process.
Yeah.
And like most stuff, it's all, you know, a lot of that code, we watch it in amazement as it does this stuff, but when you get right down to it, it's all X's and Y's and Z's, you know.
Yeah. I did I created and calculated, because I don't write G code. I don't know enough about it to write my own G code. So I did a video on it to show folks how to do it. And I made a keyhole, vertical keyhole that's about 3/4 of an inch tall. Then I made a horizontal. I made one horizontal that's about 1 inch wide, and another one's about 2 inches wide. And saved that G code, and that's out on my controller computer. And whenever I want to do a keyhole, I just clamp the piece down, move it over, and get my position, set my X, Y, and Z 0, and go. And it's done. It just took me longer to tell you how I do it than it does to actually do it. But you know, you figure out where you want your keyhole, bring your bit over, set your X, Y, and Z 0, and cut.
Let's see. William Maggart's asking me if I need a license plate from Oklahoma. You know what? There is, I'm checking my list here. I think I have. Where's my? Oh, here it is. I'm pretty sure I have one license plate from Oklahoma, and it's already spoken for. So I got to build a guitar for somebody that wanted the Oklahoma. So, but if you have one and want to send it to me, I'd be happy to take it off your hands, because I could probably make a second one for that same person, because there's two young kids that would probably enjoy getting one. And they all live in Oklahoma. So
that's something I haven't done yet. I haven't made a license plate guitar. I need to make one.
I should have read this first before I popped it up here. It may not even be a serious question since it's from Patrick, but we'll see. Question for long-time CNCers and newbies. How many of us still watch the machine do its thing, even though we could be doing something else? Okay, let's see a show of hands in the chat. If you stand and watch your CNC, type guilty or something in the chat. I personally do not.
I do for a while.
Unless it's a brand, it just depends on what it is. If it's something where I know I'm going to have to keep an eye on something, I might. But most of the stuff I run is stuff I've run before. And plus, if you, we've got people saying I watch, and Dave Max says sometimes. It just depends. If you're doing a project that's for yourself or, family member or something like that, there's no money involved, and, it doesn't matter whether it takes you 10 minutes or 3 hours, then it doesn't matter. But if you're, in my case, doing the Gatton CNC kits or whatever it is I'm cutting, I won't say I'm not making any money standing there watching it, but I'm not making as much. You need to always be doing something else if you're busy. And I've been doing this so long. I know some people say, I still like watching it, but I've been doing it so long. It's like I'll hit the button and make sure that it started off doing what I thought it was going to do. Make sure I didn't, have a brain fart and forget to zero something or whatever. Once it's going, I'm gone. I'm doing something else, or maybe just sitting in here in the AC watching it on my camera while I watch YouTube videos or something. I'm pretty good about doing that, sitting in my chair eating a sandwich, watching YouTube videos, but have my tablet on the counter with my camera pointed at it where I can, with things, just keep an eye on it there. And I can hear the noise. That's really the main thing. Even when you're not watching it, you need to either have, if you got a camera, you need to have the sound on, or you need to be close enough that you're within earshot of something. Because occasionally when something does go wrong, I've heard of people, I'm not mentioning no names, but I've heard of people say they start up their machine and go to Walmart or something. I'm thinking, there's no way I would ever do that.
Nope.
No way I would ever do that. That's just crazy.
Me either. I get nervous about running in the house to go to the bathroom because I am leaving the building and going into another building. But I will, but I'm pretty speedy about it. I stand and watch for a little while. If it's something that I've never done before, especially, I'll stand and watch. But usually, like a couple of other folks say, I'll watch it at first to make sure everything's going right and it's going in the right place, in the right position. And then I'm trying to do something else, But I'm like a 5-year-old when it comes to some of this stuff. I mean, there are some days that I just want to stand there and just jump up and down and go, holy crap, I built that and it's still working, you know. But there are other days to where I just throw something up there, turn it on, and once I'm sure it's cutting in the right place, you know, I'm gone. I'm out in the driveway doing something else. There's always something that needs to be sanded. So that's usually what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve says, I watched my CNC laser ever since I lit my project on fire. Yeah, it's probably a good thing to do. When my shop around back, I have the laser on that Garage Works, and it's at one end of the shop. And a lot of times I'll start something, like if I'm doing the fretboards and stuff like that, I'll hit the button and then I'll walk to the other end of the shop where I do the assembly on the guitars and stuff, you know, or sanding or, you know, whatever it might be. And then I can just glance up. Of course, you know, I usually have my glasses off if I'm at the other end because I'm not looking at it. But I just, you know, I can tell if, you know, something catches on fire pretty quick. Because that building ain't that big. It's going to stink pretty quick if something catches on fire. Gussie Banjo says, let me bring his question up here. Can you bring people in on the phone? Well, I don't know if you may have missed it when Ryan Ballard was on here earlier. He was on his phone. So yeah, obviously the video quality is probably not going to be as good, but yeah, like I said, I'm just super excited about this because I like having guests on. I don't like to be like last night was, you know, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I first thought it was going to be doing that OBS, but just being the only one here, you know, and having to talk the whole time and, you know, not have somebody else to help watch the chat. Although now this is super easy because it's right here in front of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really stoked about this because I've got a couple of people that have asked to be on the show. They've got some really cool newer things that I want to show off, and I'll let you know for sure when I get them scheduled on. Patrick, you're such a knucklehead. Call the Dave Gatton CNC hotline 24/7 for all your CNC needs. 1-800-CNC help.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. $19.95 for your first minute.
See, I was kind of last night. I was kind of thinking after I did that show with the OBS, and I'm thinking, well, until I find something like this, I didn't know it was going to take, like, you know, literally about 12 hours to find something. But I kept thinking, well, at worst case, at least with the OBS, you can, you know, since you can do those screen transitions and stuff like that, you could flash your phone number on there and say, okay, well, call in. You know, you'd be like a radio show. Call in with your question, and, you know, who do we have on the line here? You know, and have the phone on speaker, and then everybody would hear who it is. But that's not really what I want to do. This is much nicer. And we've already been on here over an hour.
Holy cow, we have.
This is crazy. Let's see. David Roby's got a question. Do you have the ability to still add links in the show more section on YouTube? Yes. I don't think, let's see. Let me scroll. I got YouTube open over here on the, I just didn't, the only thing I put on the show notes here is a live stream test, because that's all this was. But yeah, you can add, it posts, when I set it up here in StreamYard, it sets it up on YouTube, and you'll see the thumbnail and say, you know, when, you know, it's going to be 8 p.m. tonight or whatever. Everything's the same. The only thing is, if I want to add that stuff to the show more in YouTube, I have to go to YouTube to do it. But in this case, I didn't do anything. I scheduled it here, and you upload the thumbnail here in StreamYard, and it puts it over on YouTube.
Oh, so you fill out the title, the description, and put the thumbnail up and everything right there in StreamYard.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you tell it that you're wanting to stream to YouTube, a scheduled one, it sets it up. Like I said, it doesn't put all that other, your affiliate links, none of that stuff.
Okay.
In there. So you still would have to go back to YouTube,
Okay.
click edit, and then fill that stuff in. But as far as setting it up in the thumbnail, you can do that right through.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like I say, I am just really excited about finding this. I keep wanting to click on that over there, and it doesn't work. We've got some other questions here. Let's try to keep the people in the chat happy. When you are cutting things that have small profile lines, what's the best way to clean that up with sandpaper? The best way is to try to do the what is it called?
Separate last pass. Yeah.
Separate last pass, and set it for like 5 or 10 thou, and then that way you may not have those lines. Mark, right. Have you done a video on that?
I included it. I've included it in a couple of videos. I think in the Vectric for Absolute Beginners, I think I put that in like the 4th or 5th episode. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we got.
But you can do a separate last pass. That'll help clean a lot of it up. And I usually do, when I'm running a separate last pass, I have it cut the allowances 10 thousandths. So it'll cut the project 10 thousandths oversized. Then on that last pass, the bit actually lifts up out of the material. It moves in that 10 thousandths and then ramps in and cuts the entire profile in one go, full depth, and it cleans up everything. And you can do it with tabs, without tabs, however you want to do it.
Okay.
But
I'm sitting here, we're sitting here moving our hands and stuff, trying to tell. I might as well show him.
Okay.
It's right here, Matt. You can check this. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep, separate last pass.
Click that and put it, like Mark said, put it for about 10 thousandths. Mm-hmm. And what it'll do, well, it'll do just like what Mark said. I'm not going to bother repeating it, but that's it right there. But if you've already done it and you got the profile lines, then your question, what's the best way to clean that up with sandpaper? Elbow grease.
That's right.
But this really works pretty good.
Yep, it does.
Especially if because I cut a lot of plywood stuff and it's going to make several passes and you get those little lines. And I always put that on all the parts. Mm-hmm.
If you can get a hold of, I don't know, your workshop or anything there, Matt, but if you can get a hold of a oscillating spindle sander, they're worth the money. Keep your eyes on Craigslist. You see them come up every once in a while. I've got an El Cheapo Harbor Freight that is, I think I paid $40 for it. I got off Craigslist, and it's 6, 7, 8 years old. It works just fine. As far as other things, yeah, there you can, like you're saying, bought some contour things to attach to sandpaper. I do the same thing. I mean, I use dowels and wrap pieces of sandpaper around it. Drop into the drug department at Wally World and grab some emery boards. You got 2 different grits of sandpaper on it, and that helps in little tight areas. The edge of a putty knife, a razor blade, whatever. I mean, you got to get in there. You got to get in there. So,
yeah, I want to answer another question here from Matt. Smith. He says, also, last week you told me what laser you recommend that was around $80, $90. Can you share the Amazon link so I can buy it? I don't have an Amazon link handy, but if you go to my YouTube channel, which you're already here, and go search, it wasn't that long ago I did it, just 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago. But in the video where the video is called I Got a New Laser, there is a Amazon link to that exactly. Well, actually, it's a link to all of the aux lasers on Amazon. And if you buy it through Amazon through one of my links, I do appreciate it. You know, it's really not a biggie. But like I said, I don't try to push a lot of stuff. I put the Amazon links out there, and if people hit them and go buy something, I really appreciate it. But I'm not going to sit here and preach and say, please use my links or whatever. But they're there,
Yep.
you know. And I usually have, you know, if this is just a test, if I known you was going to ask me that question, I'd have put the Amazon link down in there. But it is, that link is available in the description on that video. And it may be in some other ones too, but I know for sure it's on that one.
Well, if you're going to keep this video up, you can go over to YouTube and put that link in here.
Yeah, I could do that.
Nice of me to give you extra work to do.
Yeah. But,
Barry Curtis was asking, and a couple of other people have asked in the past, can we go to StreamYard and watch this versus YouTube? No, StreamYard's just the broadcast platform. If you go to StreamYard.com, there's no way for you to watch this at all. It's just the broadcast platform. They don't host any videos there at all. And in fact, every time you log in, if you're going to do a video, you give them your email address and they email you a code to get on. You have no password. You have no nothing. They don't save any of your information at all. So that's another cool thing about it.
yeah, that kind of makes me think of a question that I'd like to ask the people in the chat here. We've got 47 people watching. I haven't figured it out yet, and I'm not sure whether you can do it with the free stuff, the free version, or the paid version. Well, I know you can do it with a paid version, but I'm not sure. I think you can do it with a free version, but I haven't checked into it to figure it out. But there's also a way where you can stream to YouTube and Facebook and other places, but particularly YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So my question is, if I figure out how to do that, would most people watch it on Facebook or would most people watch it on YouTube? And while I'm waiting for people to type in an answer, I saw.
And that's the big question, because that's something I've discovered. It's hard to get people to move from one platform to another. Some YouTube folks love YouTube and they don't like Facebook. Facebook folks love Facebook. They don't like YouTube. And trying to get them to come off of Facebook to watch a video on YouTube, sometimes like pulling teeth, you know.
I swear I saw another question from Ryan Ballard, but I guess I missed. Oh, no, that's not it.
Yeah, he's asking if that laser is still working all right.
Yeah, and I don't see it on here now.
It's not too far. It's almost to the top of the chat window when you're all the way down to the bottom.
Okay, yeah,
it just rolled off.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't where I thought I was. Yeah, in fact, I just finished using it right before I came in here and started this and sent Mark the link. I was making a tag to put on something. So yeah, it's working great. Like I said, the first one, I think the first one worked great. It's just that I overworked it. I didn't know that you had to, run them about an hour and a half, and then you need to let them chill for an hour or so. Which, because like I said, with the JTech, I've never had to do that. You can
Well,
run the darn thing all day and it doesn't matter.
now I got a question about that. Do you have a fan on that JTech?
Yeah.
Okay, is there one on the other one?
In fact, there's a fan. Back when I bought it about 3 years ago, it was an option. Now I think he sells them with the fan, but there's a little fan that sets right over the laser diode and it blows down.
Right.
Okay. And then there's also another fan that's on the little drive board.
Okay.
Now, see, with this laser, the ox laser, that you don't get that. You just get the aluminum with, the aluminum heat sink with the laser diode in it and a cable. That's it. But being out in my garage, especially now, it's hot. So I've always got a fan that's pointed, either at me or, that one that I have mounted that everybody always comments about that I have mounted. It's one of those oscillating fans, but I have it mounted upside down on the ceiling. I've got it set where it just blows across my table.
Yeah.
It's really meant for when I'm standing in front of the table, it's hitting me, but it also blows across the table. So it's not like that thing wasn't getting a little bit of air, but I don't know.
Wondered if maybe adding a small, I don't know how small of one of those little pancake fans you can get to blow on that sucker, if that would help.
Well, I said there wasn't a fan, but there is a fan.
Okay.
But it's a little dinky let's see. Well, I bet I just deleted that the other day too, because I saw them and I thought I don't need those pictures anymore. But anyway, I had a picture, but well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's go to let me find a picture one right here. Okay, here we go. All right, now let me come back here and screen share, y'all. Oops, I don't need that no more or that.
Yeah, Todd HCNC says add a water cooler like a PC.
Okay, so let me do the screen.
That would be a nightmare.
Okay, you can see my screen, Mark.
Oh yes, sir. I can.
Okay, now this is, I don't know which one this is, but this looks. Well, this says 15 watt over here. So but they all look the same. This one may be a little bigger, but see how this is all stacked up. You've got this extruded aluminum.
Yeah.
The laser diodes right here in this part.
Right.
And then you've got there's a little fan. I'm trying to remember if the fan is sandwiched between the drive board. There's the drive board right there. And there's this other part right in here is a little fan.
Oh, okay.
Where these red and black wires go.
Okay.
There's a fan there. But it's apparently not enough.
Okay.
For
okay, but it does have those aluminum fins around it. Of course, they got half of them covered up with danger stickers that are upside down, but
it does have a much bigger heat sink, because the one that's in the JTech, that thing's a little dinky.
Yeah.
It's not very big at all.
Okay.
But Matt Smith says he started, let me open this up. Started streaming my cutting on Twitch, acting like my CNC is controlling the stream and it is related to Skynet. I don't know what any of that means. Skynet is.
I signed up for Twitch and never did anything with it. I'm not much for that platform. I'm old.
Yeah, I have a Twitch account too, and I don't ever use it. And I don't like watching things on Twitch.
William Maggard asking about cutting Kaizen foam with that laser. Do your research on that before you go cutting anything. There's a lot of materials you cannot cut with the laser. It will either destroy you or destroy your equipment. And there are certain foams you just don't want to cut with a laser at all. So I'm not sure what type of foam Kaizen foam is, but there's some that you really can't do it.
Kaizen foam is that stuff that they use in like luggage. You know, you cut it out to put like,
right,
you know, cameras, cases, or something like that. I got some big chunks of it back there, but I don't think I'd ever try to cut it with a laser.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's latex foam, if it's polyurethane foam, is it something else? I would check into it, find out what it is, and see if they recommend, you know, cutting with laser or not, because there are certain materials you just can't cut with a laser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the off-gassing. I mean, we're talking about there's some gases like with vinyl. If you try to cut vinyl with a laser, certain types of vinyl, it produces the off-gassing when it combines with moisture to include the moisture in your lungs. It turns to hydrochloric acid, and it will eat up equipment and eat you up. So, yeah, it may be best to cut with a drag knife. Although I have seen, I don't know anything about it. I've never done it myself. I have seen people cut them with open flute bits on the CNC. But
yeah,
I've never done it.
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, has cut Kaizen foam with a bit before. You know, if I had a lot of foam to cut, of course, if you're trying to make pockets in that, like to set a camera in or something, you couldn't do what I'm about to say. But, you know, most when you cut foam, another way is with what they call a hot knife, which is nothing more than a wire,
right,
that's, you know, got electricity going to it and heats up. But that cuts. Hey, Hobby's out there. Let me see if Hobby can.
Polystyrene and what have you.
Hobby, I'm gonna send you a link. Are you in the Homestead? Let me get rid of this. I'll send him one. I don't know if he'll come on or not.
Last I heard of Hobby, he was out in the Caribbean doing that cruise thing.
I don't know if Hobby knows about. Yeah, he says send away. So let's just sent you the link, Hobby. All you got to do is click on it, and boom, you're here.
And enter a display name that you don't mind being seen in public. Yeah, CNC foam cutter would be pretty cool, but I just don't cut enough foam to warrant one. I'm a wood guy, you know.
Yeah,
I've only done one or two pieces of acrylic, and then, you know, I didn't really care. So.
Okay, Hobby, I see it says your guest will need to connect. Oh, wait, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at there.
Yeah, he's got stuff.
The myth, the legend.
Up at the property.
Let me shut down the other stream here because I'm hearing an echo of myself. There we go. That's much better.
This is, in case you just joined us, Hobby, or just started watching the stream.
I got all the background. And,
okay, yeah. This is this is just my little test. We're just
Steve, Mark. I've heard the tests. I saw that. I'm caught up.
Okay, cool. But this is going to be a good replacement for that old Google thing, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
I can only adjust my camera colors. I mean, my camera brightness. Always have that issue here.
Yeah. Let's see.
You know, I was 35 years old before I figured out the brightness knob on the TV doesn't have anything to do with the intelligence of the people on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Here's a different look. I didn't try that a while ago. Ryan's popped back in here. Let's do 4.
Ooh.
Hey,
All right. So how's the 4 looking? Oh, yeah, we got the 4.
We got room for 2 more. Anybody else?
Now you do have a switch, Dave, that you could put like the rest of us on a strip and highlight 1. Is that correct?
Well, I can if I hit this now it's on you.
Okay, yeah, but there's another mode, I believe, where you can have them all in a row or something like that, or if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of that is dependent on how many people are here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, just so long as y'all don't start singing the Brady Bunch theme, I'm fine.
There you go. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I can. Let's see. Now I feel like the Brady Bunch here.
Don't even start.
Okay, we've got I'm gonna try to be a little and answer the questions. We got a question from Jim here. I don't know who Jim.
Let me try something.
What Jim this is, but he says, I have a question. The Xylotex kit is not available at this time. Do you guys know where I'm assuming where I could get a kit like that?
Stepper Online. Similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, the Xylotex, though, is pretty much, I won't say it's plug and play because you still got to add the stepper motors. But all that other wiring is done, whereas with the Stepper Online, you still have to, wire the drivers and stuff like that. But, I've done shows showing how to do it, videos how to do it. It's not right, other people have too. It's not that hard. So if you find a true plug and play kit, everybody else seems to be really proud of them because they're too much money, I think. I'm trying to think of, if you go to, I hate to mention their name, but there's a place you can go and buy a ready-to-run kit. It's all plug and play, but I think it's like $1,200 or something. And it is not that hard to wire it yourself. So, if you don't want to wait for the Xylotech kits to come back available, then, I usually tell people to go to Stepper Online. I think that's a good, a good outfit. A lot of people have done that and bought their kit from Stepper Online and, are happy with them. So
it's pretty awesome. I'm sitting in Hobby's kitchen right now.
So, well, sort of. The property here. I'll give you the nickel tour. This is my home away from home at the property, and it's at the moment a bachelor pad. As you can see, I just got here, so I've just unpacked, and well, that's pretty much it. There's a bathroom somewhere along the way, but let me put this up here. I think this is
Always a good thing.
Yeah.
Patrick's Workshop says, so that's what Ryan looks like. Did he not know what you look like, Ryan Ballard?
Now he's not going to be able to forget.
There we go. Now I can clean up while I'm listening.
All right, Steve at Hornell Media says, Dave, if you click the second button over, you can stack the images. Well, the second.
Yeah, that's the one you just did a few seconds ago. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, well, that's, the starting at the far left, there's the far left button.
Right.
The next one over. There's the next one over. And then the fourth one.
Yep.
And I'm not sure what that one just did. I don't notice any difference between that one. And that one stacked them that way. So there's not
that information brought to you by Steve Nealon from Harneal Media. If you need websites or anything like that, go to Steve Nealon at Harneal Media. He could set you up. His own web hosting service. Reasonable prices.
checks in the mail, Javi.
Yep, and he rocks too.
Javi, what's the big project at the property right now?
Well, I'm actually
Dishes.
Yeah, aside from dishes. Well, I did my usual mowing the lawn, which takes 4 hours in this place. I'm actually emptying out the shed, disassembling it, moving it to an area where it's not going to be in my way for future building. Because right now it's smack dab where the master bedroom's going to go. So I got to get it out of the way. I'm better now than when I got it more full of stuff and yeah.
So how soon before you break ground?
Well, recently I just pulled the electrical permit for.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to be meeting hopefully this week. If not, it'll be next month. Hopefully this week I'm meeting with one of Duke Energy's engineers so we can discuss, my needs now and in the future for the house. They recommend a 200 to 300 amp service, and we'll see exactly where to put the pole, whether to do a temporary one or not, because the next 2 years it'll be for irrigation purposes. But in about 2 years, in answer to your other question, that's when I'll break ground, I expect.
Okay.
But either way, I got to have electric out here. I'm sick and tired of running on the generator, and everything's done by spending money on gas like it's coming out my ass.
Or something.
Or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Show about nothing. You could make a podcast out of this, Dave.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, they had a TV show called Seinfeld.
Yeah, I'm
last
amazed
12 years.
when you post saying you're going to do a test that people will come to watch to see what you're testing, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, I figured it'd be a few, and I wanted at least a few to be able to, play with the chat thing and get some opinions about it and stuff. But there's still 40 people watching right now. So
Well, you got to think of it this way. That means 40 people think that you're more entertaining than the networks are, and I think that's a good thing.
well, that ain't saying much though, because there's
Yeah,
I watch on the network TV is the local news, and that's only if I want to get caught up on how many drive-bys there were last night.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
man, what a shame! What a shame about all those killings.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, Gussie Banjo's over there. Eric is saying, show us a box. Well, what box? Which kind of box? What do you mean? I mean,
What kind of box?
I can show you a cigar box. I got a
hang
couple.
on a second.
I got
All
a
right.
couple of them.
Okay.
I mean,
We got this, and it closes like so. It's got this little flippy thing on it. It's standard battery box for a chainsaw battery. I just it folds very nicely.
Mm.
So
A cigar
And,
box?
There you go. Your
Dave's
turn.
gonna have to have production on this. Show us your box, and then it's whatever box you have around.
There you go.
Well, I showed him a box.
Yes, cigar box is what he was.
There's a cigar box. That's my old beater. There wasn't room enough for it up on the shelf.
My box
Technically,
is 3D printed.
oh, there you go.
This is a product I'm working on for solar stuff. This is one of the prototypes I'm making. But
So you're
there is a
making
use case for a
beautiful
3D printer.
stuff with a 3D printer.
I'm trying. I do make flexible dinosaurs for my kid, but I am actually trying to make something useful.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see that because, Lord knows we have enough Darth Vaders and Millennial Falcons and all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. When you got kids and grandkids and you got any kind of a machine that does anything, a 3D printer, a CNC, a laser, what have you.
Grown men I've seen print them.
Oh, I know it.
Kids.
Oh, I know it. But it gets worse when you got kids and grandkids because all of them want something. And yeah, I know as grandpa, it's my job to never say no, but sometimes you have to. Otherwise, you'll never get anything else done. You'll be doing nothing but their stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess, we need something to fill those landfills up anyway.
yeah.
Well, my son is in Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts, and he didn't have a whistle, so I had to print him out a whistle the one day.
There you go.
There you
Pretty
go.
neat. It worked right off the bat. It was really cool.
Cool.
That'll work.
Had the little ball thing in it and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it was pretty cool how it worked out. So, it was loud too.
Nice.
Yeah.
There are times when I think, yeah, you know what, a 3D printer would be nice. I could make one of these to fix this. But the rest of the time, I think it would be sitting. It's kind of like a timing light. When you need it, you need it. When you don't, you don't. That kind of thing.
yeah. We got Frankie's CNC and woodworking channel here in the house.
That's it.
Welcome, Frankie.
I hope everybody else is as fascinated watching Hobby clean up as I am.
Okay. So this mess bears explanation. I packed my trailer with Diet Coke cans, nice and neatly stacked. Unfortunately, I forgot to put one of the caps on one of my water tanks. So in the splashing around, it splashed all over the floor. So no big deal. The trailers I wash it out all the time, but it soaked these things. So now I have,
Wet cardboard.
wet cardboard. I got to get the Coke rewards from them, and I got to put all the Cokes away. And therein is my life.
Coke rewards. Geez, you should be a millionaire in Coke rewards.
No, you know what, and I will only use the word stupid Coca-Cola when it comes to Coke rewards. But they used to have the program where you can actually buy something with the points. Now, all you can do is win chances to win stuff. Yeah, it's the stupidest thing in the world. I mean, if I wasn't so damn addicted to Diet Coke, I'd be switching because
Or you could just do like most people do and ignore it. Just chill out about the whole thing and not worry about them.
I like my Coke rewards.
Yeah, you got a 1 in 2 million chance of winning a package of azalea seeds.
Well, the thing is, it's like every month I used to turn in 10 Coke rewards, and I mean that's nothing for me because I buy 4 of these things a week, and I get a movie ticket, and so I mean in a month I can get 2 movie tickets. My wife and I can go all the time to the movies, just from the Coke I drink. Amazon $10 off cards. I mean, all types of.
That's not
All
bad.
types of. good, valuable stuff. Now it's a chance to win $1,000 Visa card.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, good luck.
yeah, see, I'm just Scottish enough to I'm just Scottish enough to think that a couple of free movie tickets and a $10 off Amazon card's a pretty good deal.
It is. Well, that's what it used to be. They don't have that anymore.
Oh,
That's what I'm complaining about. Is that now all you can do is a chance to win different items.
no, okay. How many have you won?
None.
Well,
None. And I've put in a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do save a few. I always save a few Coke rewards because every now and then they pop up with the old AMC movie ticket or whatever purchase for 10 tickets. But
yeah.
In the meantime, the cardboard boxes make great kindling for the firewood.
There you go. There goes Dave.
Reality television. That's best.
Yeah, I'm really liking this news.
Yeah, I can tell.
The part that's a shame is that this stuff would be awesome during the day when we're in our shops and when it's really nice and lit out there and I can be, doing something, have the headphones on and chatting while the camera's just focused on whatever, cutting lumber or whatever. But nobody's home. Everybody's working. So nobody's going to be, it's not like this time of night.
Yeah, we get a 10-cent per can deposit per can. You could have financed your cruise you just went on with the Coke empties that you just did.
These aren't empty. These are all full.
I understand that, but you're going to empty them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you got a 10-cent deposit back per can, you could have financed that cruise.
This is just for the week that I'm here.
Mark, pick a subject. Okay, the socioeconomic ramifications of the former Warsaw Pact nations turning over to a free market economy. Discuss.
Well, I actually think that
none of that trampled underfoot stuff. No.
We have fun on that podcast. Come on now. I mean, where else can you talk about everything from DNA testing for ancestry and genealogy? We talk about everything from there to the Beatles. I mean, and anything in between. We just don't know what we're going to talk about. We have fun.
The band or the bug?
The what now?
The band or the bug?
Both. All of the above.
Or the car.
Yeah, we could be talking about the car, the band, you name it.
Dave, it's almost been 2 hours.
But who's counting? And I want you to know, this is how good of a person I'm being right about now. My wife is in there cooking one of my absolute favorite dinners, corned beef, oven roasted corned beef. And the kitchen's about 2 rooms over that way, but the intake for the air conditioning is right next to the kitchen. So, that is, and the vent is right down here at my feet. So I'm smelling nothing but corned beef right about now. And it's just
food. I haven't even eaten.
My gosh.
I just had some, I brought some Chinese leftovers with me. So I had a bunch of pepper steak. And for dessert, I swung by, I was going to say Staples. Boy, I'm out of it. I swung by Target and picked up a turtle pie. I haven't bought one of those in years. Man, those are delicious.
Is that like Cookie Puss?
It's got like chocolate and caramel and I think a little bit of peanut butter or something and cream.
Very cool. Be right back.
Oh, Linda's right there in the chat.
Yep. She drops in. She drops in and cheerleads every once in a while. Throws in
Who's that?
a comment. My wife, Linda.
Ah. Hey, Linda.
She's got a YouTube channel. She just won't post anything to it. She's too busy.
Yeah.
She says, sounds like you're making folks hungry. No, you're making folks hungry because it's driving me up a tree here and I got to talk about it. So this is all your fault.
Glad I got a big fridge.
I don't know that, John. If you want to send it to me or put it in there, we'll try it and see. Can you stream a YouTube video in the chat? I have a laser video to show you. All G code created in VCarve, but executed at thousands of lines per second.
Well, we can see where his priorities lie because I don't think there's be any room for food in that fridge.
I actually have 4 Caesar salads, a bunch of hot dogs, and I got peanut butter and mac and cheese. Even though I'm going to lay off the mac and cheese because I'm going to see if I can drop the 1.5 pounds that I gained on the cruise.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If it wasn't for all the walking I did, I wouldn't have. It would have been 5 or 10 pounds that I gained.
And what is this thing you call salad? I thought that was just lettuce they put on the top of the burger.
Yeah, but I douse it in Caesar dressing, so to get rid of the taste of the poison green stuff that's included.
Oh, okay.
And that usually works.
Yeah, John said you can't post the link here. I'll send the link. Yeah, I forgot. You have to be a what do you call it? You got to have the wrench.
You got to be a moderator or an admin.
Yeah.
To post links.
Yeah, you send it to me. I can always do a screen share or something. Looking at it. Although I probably don't want to show it on the thing because then it'd be copyrighted material of somebody else's. So.
Yeah. It would be. Yeah, you probably don't want to get involved in that. I wasn't going to say anything because I figure it's your channel. You do what you want.
I was thinking about that because I wouldn't like it if somebody was doing mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I haven't had many thieves lately, but man, there for a while. Checking that copy. Have you ever had anybody copyright your stuff? You know, that copyright match stuff, Mark? You know what I'm talking about?
No, not my videos. No, nobody want to copy anything I've ever done. They're too long and boring. I do long, boring tutorials, and I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about that.
I've had people, you know, that I guess they've got the YouTube Red or whatever they call it these days, and they download the full complete video, and then re-upload it on their channel. I had one guy who had 8 of my videos. And he didn't even bother editing anything. You know, you still see the same old fat, gray-haired guy out there walking around a CNC. And I'm like, you know, I don't know. I don't understand people.
Well, they don't even do the YouTube Red thing. All they do is there's extensions you can get for other browsers. Chrome won't let you install them. But you go on one of the other web browsers and you can get extensions and add-ons that'll download YouTube videos, and then they post them on their own channels. Yeah. No, ain't nobody ever swiped anything of mine. I checked it yesterday. I check once a week just to be sure. And But no, nobody wants to steal my stuff, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, on the one hand, I ain't popular enough for anybody to want it. But on the other hand, it's like, well, come on, what's the matter with me?
I wouldn't get complacent and forget to check it, however often you're doing it, because it don't matter what it is. They'll especially if they look at your channel and go, wow, that no double-sided tape video, that's got a lot of views. Next thing you know, because I've had people. I got one video that's got over 1 million views.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them that they like to get. And I've got another one that's got a couple 100,000, and all the ones that are a lot of views. Of course, some of them, was where the guy had got the old shoestring budget videos. He got practically the whole series, and then was trying to act like it was him.
Yeah, I've sent you a couple of links to people scamming your stuff. But
that reminds me. You remember when you sent me that link? Let's see. We got several people watching this. Maybe this will help somebody. You had sent me a link a while back, and it was it's been so long now. I meant to mention it during the live stream to try to warn people not to mess with it. But it was a link where somebody said you can get free plans from Dave Gatton, free CNC plans. And when you go to click on it, it takes you to a place where, you have to register to be able to download them. Well, the first screen only shows, I forget, it's like you create a username and a password or something. And then when you do that, you go, okay, well, I can do that, and then you click on that. Then it takes you to a thing where it wants credit card information. And remember, I was telling you, I said, I hope people aren't that stupid to go to some place where you have no idea who's running that website. Because I guarantee you, they might have my plans, but I seriously doubt it. That's all a scam to try to get your credit card.
Exactly.
They did the whole 9 yards. They wanted your number, your name, your address, the little 3-digit code on the back of your. They could have worked you out, and while you're still waiting to get the download link for those free plans.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I don't know if they were able to take that down, or if who you complained to about it or what have you, but that's some dangerous stuff.
Well, as far as somebody getting my plans and not buying I wasn't really worried about that, because if somebody's stupid enough to give all their credit card information, they're going to end up paying for them plans. They ain't going to be paying me, but they're going to be paying whoever's ripping them off.
Big time.
But
yeah, and then since you've got everybody on your list who actually paid you for the plans, they're not going to have any support from the community.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few pirated machines out there. I've had people, because everybody that joins the Facebook group has to request and has to be approved by me. And I've got a couple of little questions there. And I had one guy who says, yeah, I'm building a Gatton CNC. And then the next question is, have you bought one or something? And he says, yeah, I purchased one. And I'm like, I ain't never heard of you, buddy. It takes me 2 seconds to do a search through all my list of customers, and you didn't buy them from me. So I don't know whether he was just saying that so he could get in the group, or if he really is. But, that's really the only kind of thing I can do if somebody is doing that, is just say, well, you may have got a hot one, but you're not going to be in the community. And to me, that's the best part of getting a Gatton CNC is getting to be in that Facebook group. And, that's just a great bunch of folks over there.
Yeah. If you're
only recourse I have is say, well, you may have one, but you're going to be having to hide it underground because nobody else want to fool with you.
That's right. It's sad that it's come to that, but it is true. But talking about the Gatton CNC Facebook group, if anybody out there has purchased or is thinking about purchasing a Gatton CNC, if you're still on the fence, I got to tell you, it's the best bang for the buck out there. Yes, there are faster machines. Yes, there are more rigid machines, but you are not going to be able to build a machine that's that big for that little of an entry fee. You know, there is a price for admission no matter what CNC you build. But I mean, we got a couple of guys who have built 5 foot by 5 foot machines, and it's
The only way you
basically the
can build
same.
it, the only possible way you can build it cheaper is you got to invest time and money into designing one yourself. And holy cow, that's, I mean, it's not, how valuable is your time?
Mhm.
Is the big question. Is your time worth $1 an hour? Because that's probably what it'll come to.
Yeah, well, I mentioned in one of the live streams a couple of weeks ago that there for a while I had a plans only option for the real go-getters who wanted to buy that and they wanted to cut the parts out themselves or whatever. And I finally just took that back off the website because I went back and checked and like 9 out of 10 people that bought just the plans would come back later on, maybe a month or 2 months or some cases 6 months later and go, I kind of like to have that kit. This is more work than I thought, And of course, I give them a credit for the whatever they paid for the plans, but I just I just took that option back off the table because I'm going to end up cutting for them down the road anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Better?
All right. Steve,
Hobby has a couch. Yay!
we need you to expand on that comment.
If you're not a member of the Gatton CNC Facebook group, Steve.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Don't try this at home. I'm a trained professional. If you're not a member of the Gatton CNC Facebook group, I encourage you to join it because, I mean, there are literally hundreds of members over there who either are building or have already built a Gatton CNC, and they're more than happy to answer your questions and help you along if you need it. I mean, watch Dave's videos. I mean, he is he's done the research and development for you. It's pretty much standard woodworking. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of electrical you got to do, and yeah, there's some mechanical you got to do, but it's basic. It's basic woodworking.
You're basically cutting 8 rectangles of various shapes. If you know how to screw stuff together and follow directions step by step, you've just built yourself a CNC.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, don't hesitate. Feel free to. I mean, you cannot ask a stupid question over there, Steve. Somebody, and you're probably not the first person to have that question. Somebody else has either had that problem and has figured out a way to solve it, or can help you out in one way or another. So don't be shy. Have conversed with several people lately. Good.
All right. I don't know why that question did not. I'm looking over here on the laptop and I see it automatically it's hidden it or it's held for review, but I'm going to show it. I don't understand what it was. It said, and it was, let's see if I can find it now. Where'd it go? Anyways, from Michael Bell, I don't know if it's going to show up over here because it was held there for a while, but he says on the keyholes, you can add a shallow pocket to allow for the screw head.
Yeah.
Yes, you could.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Steve, it is a lot of work. I mean, I built mine over the course of a couple of months, basically doing it in my spare time. I didn't devote 8-hour days to it. I had a full-time job at the time, so I was working on it on weekends and after hours here and there. And but slow and steady. I mean, it's just be methodical. I would watch Dave's video on the particular sub-assembly that I was going to do that day, and then go outside and get to work. And I'd come back occasionally, and double check to make sure.
After putting the table together, mine was built in about. I always brag that it was less than 4 hours, but I looked at all the live videos. It took me 5.5 hours to do the whole entire thing to get it up and running. I was doing most of it in a live stream with Dave on my channel, but it's not difficult.
And
you just follow the videos.
And think about it philosophically. Anything worth having is worth working for. I mean, it is a bit of work, but you got this. You can do it.
Yeah, if there was any way that I could make it easier, I would do it. But I mean, you look at the kit. I even mark hole locations for where I think you ought to put the screw.
Yeah.
Little pockets for things. There's so many things I've done, and as far as, I don't know what I could do short of coming to your house and building it for you to make it.
My best piece of advice is don't be intimidated. I was years ago. I bought a Cam Master prior to getting the Gatton. And that was only because I was afraid of what I didn't know. I hadn't been really heavy duty into the community. I was doing a bunch of searches, and I found Dave's plans. Well, that was the other the other CNC, the prior one, but the budget build, and I was just too scared because I go, I don't want to get in over my head and leave it half done and anything. And I made the mistake of sinking $8,000 into a ready-made machine when I could have had pretty much, while maybe the quality might be, not quite 8,000, but worth it. The end result, I could do everything I can do on the other machine. I could do on this machine, on my new machine, and my new machine's bigger and cost. Yeah. A fifth, a sixth of the price, and or less. But don't be intimidated at all. And you've got a lot of help with the community. That's my piece of advice. It's easier than you think.
I built that first machine I built was a shoestring budget CNC, Dave's plans from years back, and I had a grand total of $891 in that bill. I built the entire thing for $891.
And half of that was the controller.
And the biggest part of that at that time, it was the Xylotex drive box. He was selling those at $390. So it's now, well, he's out of them right now because he's having a problem getting motors, but they were up to about 410, something like that. So the price on that hadn't gone up much. But the single most expensive thing was the controller, and after that, it was the dumpster CNC couplers and lead nuts. And I called it a $40 wonder because that's what I would do. I'd hit it $40 at a whack. I'd buy this and then set it aside, and then buy the next, and then put something else together. And I took the DXF files on a thumb drive down to local printer and printed them up full size and used spray adhesive and
Did you guys know while you were talking about Xylotex, I just checked out their website. Did y'all know they're selling CNC routers now?
No.
Yeah, he's got 3 of them here.
Oh, great.
Chinese ones?
There's one for, well, let's see. There's two of them here for $875,
Mhm.
and then there's one for $1,000.
What are the little Chinese ones that take a Dremel motor or something like that?
Well, I don't know what this is. It says it's got a work area travel dimensions X of 22 3/4 inches, Y of 27 1/2, Z of 6 inches. So, and he's got in his Xylotex box, the old white one like I got right here on this picture. Let me see if I can get this picture here.
Now, is that using the 269 inch-ounce motors?
Well, let me see here. Let me just read this thing.
Because he's got those. He doesn't have any of the 425 inch-ounce anymore.
It says this router package is a complete, ready-to-run turnkey system that only requires the addition of three things that are not included in the package: a Porter cable router, model 450 compact trim router.
Okay.
There you go. It's the compact one.
Motor, multi-outlet power strip to supply the 110 power to the router motor drive box, blah, 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 and a spoil board. So I don't know. I don't know what it's made out of.
Yeah, it's a desktop unit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it. It looks like he's got just some blocks of wood.
Yeah, those are basically the small. Those are the small ones that you're pushing it with a compact router on those things. I mean, I'm sure the stepper motors can easily handle it. But if you're looking for long production times or something larger than, say like we normally do a 3x3 or 4x4, 3x4 or 4x4 work size, which is very comfortable. It's not worth it when you can a couple $100 more.
Yeah.
Total investment, you've got a full blown gap.
Yeah.
I think I've got less than 700 in my gap.
I've got $1,270 in mine. $1,271 and change. Okay, $1,271. That's for everything, including the garage rails that I did for my I did Amazon, and I went cheap with everything, but all the wood, the table, and that's a 6x6 machine. So, I mean, that's a lot of aluminum, and an extra lead screw. If you have a 2x3 foot area, you only need 2 lead screws, if that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a little "Made in the USA" sticker in that picture, so I don't know if this is stuff that Jeff is building.
No. See, Dave, the sticker was made in the USA.
I see. It just, I mean, it's got 4 steppers. I don't think he says it probably is those 269. Oh yeah, here it is. The system has 4 269 ounce stepper motors running 3.0 amps at 36 volts.
Well, now he is still selling that drive box kit with those 269 inch ounce motors, isn't he?
Well, let's see.
I know he was up until recently, and I haven't checked it in the last few weeks.
Well, here's the drive. He says he's out of stock. He says out of stock, do not order.
Okay.
And it's, but yeah, that's what it is, the 269 ounce.
Sounds to me like he's putting them all on those machines he's trying to sell. That's fine. I don't know. For a long, long time, those 269 motors were standard. It's only recently that they've gone to, of the NEMA 2324 frame, it's only recently that they've gone to a much higher torque, holding torque.
Yeah, I almost busted my hand on my Cam Master, and it's got I think they're 213 or 269. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, they're geared down because it's rack and pinion,
Right.
and you pay through the nose for that.
Right.
But 269 ounces, that's a heck of a lot of power.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, Peter Pasuelo, his is rack and pinion also. Peter Pasuelo over there at CNC Nuts. He's running the 269 motors. You know,
That's another point. That's another point I have to make about the Gatton. Look, I built mine, and my next future project is going to be taking the entire head and making a lathe out of it, which I could easily do by just sticking a rotary underneath, like Dave has one designed.
mm-hmm.
But I want a standalone unit. But the point is, you could once you build it and you get familiar with all the different, you get familiar with how it works. Well, 2 points I want to make here. Number one is, if anything goes wrong, you built the thing, so you know exactly, oh, the coupler's slipping or this motor's bad or this is. Well, guess what? It's an easy fix. You buy the piece and you swap it if something goes wrong. And secondly, once you have the unit completely built and you're very comfortable with it, familiar with it, at that point, I mean, I know that I can easily add a rack and pinion to switch the screwdriver for rack and pinion. I couldn't when I first built it. Probably couldn't. I might have, but because I wasn't very familiar with the inner workings. But that's another beautiful thing about building your own.
Yeah, you can't really lose by building your own, because by the time you're finished with it, you know every inch of it. I mean, I have helped some folks in the past who have had problems with some of the little 2030 or 3020 machines that they imported, and say something about the Z-axis and they didn't know what I was talking about. You know that machine inside now. You may not know, you may not be comfortable enough to troubleshoot, but if somebody says check the lead screw on your Z-axis, you know exactly what they mean.
Yeah, I've got a commercial mower that I didn't want to take in for service because the switch on the seat was intermittent. Mm-hmm. And I had no clue on how to fix it. I took 3 different things apart and finally figured it out. But the point is, if I would have, now granted, I'm not going to build a mower, but if I would have done a do-it-yourself mower and built it myself, I would have been intimate with every single piece of that. Whereas now, you don't want to send it. If you buy a machine ready built, you don't want to send it back. You're going to be paying shipping through the nose. You don't want to wait for them to fix it. Could take months, and that's money out of your pocket if you're making a business out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's so many advantages.
Yeah, lots of advantages. And I just think that it's the best bang for the buck. I really do. I don't think you can build a machine of that size for less, especially if you're new to CNC and you're new to building. I'm a big fan. The only regret I have is that I didn't have more room to make it bigger, because I would like a little bit more Y travel. It's not 100% necessary, but I would like to be able to cut a half sheet of plywood. And right now I have mine will cut 51 by 34. So, that's fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I forget. I usually get my sheet goods cut in 3-foot sections, so I easily cut 3 foot by 4 foot. But I think my machine can go like 39 or something like that by over 5 feet.
Yeah.
And if I can build it, anybody can. It's just taking time to know what. Taking the patience is the big thing.
And, Todd brings up a good point there. He says he thinks if you can build the controller too, you're one step further ahead. that was the thing with me. I've been interested in CNC since like 2005, 2006. And I never doubted that I could build the structure. It was the electronics. I just don't have a head for it. I never took the time to learn. So the plug and play kit that Dave introduced me to from Xylotex, I mean, wham, bam, bam. It was literally 5 cables, and one of those is the power plug.
I'll tell you this, Mark. I mean, I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, and I've done gobs of soldering in my lifetime. And I'll tell you, from scratch, I could easily build a controller, and I mean, you clearly, it wouldn't be worth it to design the board, to put in all the things. Whereas the intermediate step, which is probably what you're referring to, which is taking a controller board and putting together all the pieces, it's almost gotten to the point where a controller ready built really is the best bang for your buck. Because you think, if I could build it, it's not like a chair where the wood is really cheap and you can just put the time into it. Well, it's going to cost you more for the parts than it will for the actual whole thing built.
Well, it's easier these days because that stuff is available. It wasn't available back when I was first getting into it. You had to match up the drivers with the appropriate power supply, with the appropriate breakout board, with the appropriate controller board, and you had to get a controller board that was compatible with the software you're going to use. And when you don't know any of that stuff, you're just lost. And it only takes a few minutes for people to talk in electronics to start sounding like Charlie Brown's school teacher to me, and I just lose it. So I just said, forget about it. And then when Dave introduced me to that plug and play drive box, I was hooked, and I've been a big fan ever since.
If you were to reverse engineer a Xylotech, I mean, I'll say this since he's it's not like, they're out of stock. So if you ever reverse engineer the Xylotex, you basically got the controller board. You got possibly, depending on which model you have, a breakout board or not built in. You have nothing more than a bunch of drivers, stepper drivers, and one or two, depending on which model you get, power supplies in there, and a couple of fans. I mean, that's all it. That's all it is.
You're okay, but you're an electronics guy. Now, I could tell you how to take apart the main rotor hub of an OH-58 helicopter, and I would start sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher too.
Right.
So.
Well, but I'll tell you this: as far as putting those modular pieces together, you could probably find a dozen YouTube videos that will show you how to do it, and it's fairly simple to do step by step. Whereas if I were to try to teach you how a controller actually works, the breadboard itself, and all the components, that would be Charlie Brown, basically.
Well,
that would sound like Charlie Brown.
And that's what I'm getting at. Now you can go on YouTube and find all this stuff. Back then you couldn't.
Right. Right.
It has really progressed, and there are a lot more sources out there than there used to be.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. No, I absolutely. I mean, when we say times have changed, that's wow, that's an understatement. I mean, my back in 2004, when I opened up a sign shop, and I spent a gobload of money for a laser engraver, and I'm at Precise Machine. I learned how to use it. It's basically a CNC with a laser on it. You look at today, and I can get something that'll do the same functions for 1/8 the price. I mean, and that's a pricey one, a $3,000 model. And then you got the ones that are $400 or $300, self-contained that all you need to do is engrave. That'll do it.
Yep.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yep. We have gone into trampled underfoot territory, Dave. This is the kind of stuff we talk about on the podcast.
But this is CNC related.
I remember back in the day. You kids today with your hair and your clothes and your music's just noise.
Yeah, you know, it is pretty amazing when I think about the very first machine I built.
The Sidewinder, or before that?
Well, I mean, the very first one that I built. You know, when I first started, you know, I really never set out to build CNCs. It was, I had an idea for some products, and I thought, well, since I know how to program, it would be nice if I had one. Well, way back, you know, I'm talking probably 2004 or 5, something like that. When I started looking around, you know, there wasn't really anything. There was the Next Wave Generation, which is now, you know, that's the company that makes the Shark, and this is way before they were, you know, sold at Rockler.
Yeah.
And they had like one model, I think, and that was it. And
The Piranha or the Shark. Yeah.
and it's kind of like what it is now. I mean, it's basically plastic. I mean,
It's a toy.
HDPE and stuff, and it's got reinforced angle and stuff on it, or whatever they got. But you know, back then, I think that thing was like $3,000, and I'm like, I could build something better than that for less than $3,000. So, but anyway, I thought, well, just for the heck of it, I'll buy some HDPE and try to make one similar to what they had. And I made one, and it was weak. It was, you know, it wasn't sturdy. It wasn't rigid. But what I used for a spindle or a router way back then was a rotozip. I don't know if y'all know what rotozip.
Yep.
Oh, I remember the rotozips.
Yeah. So that was my very first one. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. You've probably seen them when I do a live stream from the garage. You probably don't realize what they are. There's some wooden things hanging on, you know, wooden rectangles hanging on the wall back there. And those are some of the very first things I ever cut. And what I did is I didn't have any software. I didn't have any programming software. There was no Vectric, or, I mean, it was around, but I didn't have it. And so what I would do is, you know, being in the sheet metal, you know, working with sheet metal companies like I did, they always had, you know, lasers. And anytime, you know, a company buys a new laser, the service techs that come in and install it, they've always got a bunch of little test programs, and it's usually stuff like Harley Davidson logos, and, you know, really stuff they're not supposed to have, but they had stuff like that. So I would get some of this stuff that I was programming for the laser at work, and like I said, I didn't have any programming software, so I would get the text of that program, bring it home, and then figure out how I needed to change the code to make it run on that CNC. And so, I mean, you'd laugh if I was to bring one of those things in and show it to you, because it's basically a rotozip with a whatever size bit they have, 1/8 or 3/16 or whatever they put in it. You know, it's those bits that cut drywall.
Yeah.
But it would go into wood, and it would just, you know, it would cut right on the line, because that's what a laser did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very, and, you know, and so it's like, it cut enough to where when you look at it, you can see it, but it's like just a flat bottom cut, you know. And there's stuff like, there's like one that's got, I think it's called Day's End or something. It's like a cowboy riding off into the sunset or something silly like that. But that was the first kind of stuff I cut, and I saved a lot of that stuff, and I have it hanging on that wall in there to show, you know, so if anybody wants to see how it was way back in the day, because I can remember when I first got movement out of that thing and cut that, had to about pinch myself because I'm like, this is a CNC machine, even though it was a crappy one, and it's right here in my garage.
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't know if anybody. I mean, I'm sure there were, but I didn't know of anybody that had that, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Well, then like I said, after that, I thought, okay, well, now that I kind of know how they work, as far as building them, I'll just continue to redesign and improve, and then I started making them out of using sheet metal because that's what I was, a sheet metal guy, and I finally hit, built one. Well, it's the old gray sine widener like I have out there in my shop. And when I made that one, that was the first one where I used the dual lead screws to move the Y-axis. Mm-hmm. And when I did that and I started, jogging it around and playing with it, and I saw how smooth that worked and how those two lead screws kept everything nice and true. It didn't rack at all. Then that's kind of when the aha moment I had. I'm like, well, forget the products that I was going to make with a CNC machine. This is what I need to sell.
Yeah. And
sure enough, that's kind of what started this whole nonsense.
Well, now I'm not trying to start anything here, but Hobby, you said you have a Cam Master, right?
Yeah.
Dave, didn't you design some of the Cam Master?
Oh, yeah. He had a hand in designing pieces of it.
Yeah, the company that the last company that I worked for before they decided to kick me to the curb, we made that big box that goes on the front of them.
Oh, okay.
When you open it up, it's got the aluminum.
It's got the controller and everything else and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't really design it. I mean, they did it, but I had to take it and kind of tweak things to make it work on the fabrication equipment that we had.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to take credit for it. I mean, it's basically just a box.
Oh, okay.
The aluminum plate that we lost Hobby.
Uh-oh. Not that button, Hobby.
Yeah.
He didn't care for your answer.
Anyway, yeah, the company I worked for last, they made a bunch of that stuff.
Okay.
Troy Pritchard says, and we thank you, Dave. I'm not sure what for, but I'll say you're welcome, I guess. I don't know what you're talking about. But
wrong coat, yeah.
Yeah, wrong coat. I think we should, if we can, I don't know if Hobby's going to, no, wait, there he is. He's waiting on me to, there he is.
I hate it when that happens.
Not that button, Hobby.
Yeah,
I think we should, you know how when you go into like a store and they'll have like that big fish bowl and it'll be like full of marbles and you try to guess how many marbles or anything like that. I think we should, everybody in the chat, we got 42 over there now. I think everybody should put in a number in the chat. How many Diet Cokes do you think are in Hobby's fridge? And then we'll go see if Hobby will open it up and if he can you count that high, Hobby? I don't know.
What's that? Yeah. I'm trying to get my little Bluetooth thing to work here. Apparently I've lost my my earphones, but I still hear you guys from the computer down here. It's just one of those days.
Were you counting how many Cokes you put in the fridge while you were putting them in there?
Oh, how many I put in the fridge? No, but I'll be happy to count them.
Okay, we've got guesses of 58, 52, 18, 46, 75. There's another 75, 55, 72, 48, 144. That's probably the winner right there. Closest without going over. That's kind of like Price is Right.
I'm going 63.
I wasn't paying attention when he's putting them in there, but I know it took him a while.
I'll count them now. Let me.
All right. I don't have that many fingers or toes, so
They're still counting.
Hey, Steve, is that your guess or is that your zip code?
Yeah, there's some pretty big numbers over there.
And I took a quick look over at Steve's machine in the Gatton CNC group, and that's a good-looking build you got going, Steve. Keep at it, man. You're almost there. That's a good-looking build you got going.
Yeah, and there's no time limit on building one. You can take
That's
as long
right.
as you want.
That's right. And if I can give you a free piece of advice, Steve, it would be this: start learning the software yesterday, because that's going to be that's where the big learning curve comes in. It's just that ability to get that idea out of your brain and into the computer so you can take it outside and cut it. And don't try to go super complex at first. I mean, do some simple projects, but get it in there. And what I did was I got on Craigslist in the free section, and I just picked up every scrap fence board there was, I think, in the county, and carved them up. And boy, I tell you what, they look good in the fire pit. And it's better to carve up free wood somebody was going to throw away than to go out and buy a bunch. So,
Hobby, do you have a number for us?
Yes, I currently have. Let me do the math here, because I have 61 in the fridge. However, I drank 2. That makes it 60 in the time we've been chatting. 2 or 3, I don't know. That makes it 63. I had 11 in there, so that's 52 that I put in. But 61 to 63 in the fridge now.
Well, you have how many in the fridge now?
I'm
61.
61. I see somebody.
61.
I see somebody did.
Okay, we had Jeff Robinson guess 55, so that's pretty close.
That's close to how many I put in. I put 53 in.
Benji Long said 60.
Okay, well,
That's how many I have here, yeah.
Them without going over.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was correct at the very beginning before he started.
I probably
Ryan knows me pretty well.
drank 60 Diet Cokes in my lifetime.
Well, that's just for this weekend, Dave.
And I haven't had a Diet Coke in probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years anyway.
I got to make sure to grab the cold ones that are on the door, because
wait. Yeah, like they're in there long enough to get cold.
Well, overnight,
Steve Atkins says, I cannot decide on Fusion 360, SolidWorks Fusion 360, or VCarve Pro. You know what? Download the free trials of all of them and try them out. You will quickly discover. Dive into the tutorials. You'll quickly discover which one you're the most comfortable with.
Yeah.
Without knowing your CAD or CAM background at all, it's hard to say.
I would say the differences between the 3. VCarve is probably got one of the most features, and if you listen to Mark's channel, I mean, you're gonna breeze through it, because it's a very, very simple learning curve for VCarve Pro. Fusion, it's a lot higher learning curve, and it's more 3D stuff, really.
Well,
that you're dealing with.
It also depends on what you're going to be what you're trying to accomplish, what you're going to be making with it. Fusion 360 is an excellent program. It really is, but it's a huge hammer. If you're mainly going to be cutting parts for assemblies or things like that, then yeah, Fusion 360 is excellent. But I see some of the guys having problems with V-carving or doing some of the more detailed 3D models. But
the way I look at it, Mark, is for a CNC router.
Mhm.
I would say VCarve hands down, because the rest of them are all 3D related programs. And on the router, despite the fact that, Aspire is 3D ish, you're basically working on one plane up and down, and cutting stuff out. So you're working on 2.5D, if you want to call it that.
Well,
So-
it's, they're all based on a different style too, where you're
Yeah.
dealing with a pixel based 3D and the Vectric software versus, NURBS in something like
Right, in a mesh in
Mesh
Fusion.
Cam or Rhino or something like that.
And if you're already familiar with one of them, then by all means stick with it. But I know Dave is familiar with SolidWorks, because that's what he's used most of his life, and even he uses VCarve for a lot of the stuff. SolidWorks is more for building professional and technical drawings.
Yeah. And Fusion 360 is not too far behind it. There's a lot in SolidWorks that could, but also you have to look at the learning curve. I'm not an expert with any software, but I am an expert at trying to learn software. I was introduced to the PC and AutoCAD the same week in '97, and I can tell you that of all of the CAD CAM programs I've ever tried to get into, VCarve has got the gentlest learning curve. You can literally program your first drawing in VCarve within about 10 or 15 minutes of learning the controls. It's once you learn the basics, how to draw a vector, how to select a vector, and what the different tool paths will do. Tool pathing is real simple in VCarve. I know it's expensive. Believe me, I paid out the money, and I used my tax refund to buy it. But you use it for a year, and you'll wonder how they sell it so cheap. It's, to me, it's worth every penny, because I just don't have the problems I see and other people have with other software.
Well, as the newest to the CNCs of the four of us here, and not knowing where he's at as far as him using any of the other softwares, my suggestion is the one that I use, which is Easel from Inventables.
Mm-hmm.
It's quick and easy, but it gets you into learning how to do all of it, and
That's true.
and it's free, so it's not going to hurt to try to learn some of it and understand where it comes from. It's not the best. It definitely sends your machine making some unnecessary cuts for no reason, but just to learn how to make some stuff and try to get used to using the machine, it works great, and it's free. And really, also something else he should consider is what he wants to make with his CNC.
Right.
If he's just making like yard, signs or something like that, just doing Easel takes care of all that stuff. You can do detail cuts or and all that stuff with it too. But it's good enough to get started until you figure out, okay, I'm at the limitations of what I need. Now I need to move on to VCarve or whatever.
Okay. Now,
Exactly.
Let me interrupt for just a second for a quick plug. No pun intended, or actually pun intended. See, Patrick over there at Patrick's workshop has gotten this is CNC related, has gotten so heavy duty into 3D printing, the plastic stuff, that he's been doing custom jobs, and he's been doing a lot of little projects here and there. And I asked him to make me, dare I say, a bung cap for my water barrels. All right. So naturally, he made a
Well,
very
there's your problem.
custom one. See if you can read the. Hang on.
Hold on here, Hobby. I can.
Let me see if I can focus. Hang on. There.
Hobby's
Hobby's.
plug.
Yes, it does say
Plug.
Hobby's bunghole plug. So.
And that was supposed to be
You're not going to find that at Lowe's.
You're not going to find that at Lowe's. So if you do need it, the guy. Speaking of fusion, he's become a master in a very short time of fusion, and he's so if anybody needs parts and they don't have a 3D printer, or even if they do, because I got one, it's just sit and collect the dust. Have Patrick make them up for you for a small fee. And there's my plug.
Well, but yeah, I mean, Carbide Create and Easel, and I mean, there are all kinds of various different programs out there, and just about all of them, if they're not free, has a free trial. And like I say, get into their tutorials and work with them a little bit, and you'll quickly discover which ones you're most comfortable with, and then focus on that. But that's the hardest part. You said you use SketchUp. I came over from SketchUp to VCarve, and learning a few things kind of flowed from there. So can you hear Linda's bagpipes bleeding through on my microphone?
A little bit. Sounds good.
Okay.
I've got earplugs on, and they're not loud, so don't worry about it. I don't think you should worry about it.
Okay.
That's your dinner bell.
I got called to dinner about a half hour ago. So I'm putting you guys above corned beef. Just know that, okay?
Get your Hobby's bunghole plug. And he's got 2-inch NPT thread and buttress thread. I don't know who the hell named a bung hole and a buttress thread, but I mean, they were some very lonely individuals from what I understand.
Hobby, is it scratch and sniff?
Hey,
Good night.
I haven't thought about scratch and sniff in so long, and I just bought an air freshener today, and in the old days, you like squeeze it or open the bottle and stuff. Now they got this stupid scratch. Well, you guys all probably know if you've ever bought one. They've got this little scratch and sniff on here for the
fragrance.
scent.
Geez.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, well, you're a lovely group of guys, but I really do need to take off and go get some dinner.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here in a
Yeah.
little bit. We're going on almost 3 hours now. That's probably
Yeah.
probably I will answer this one last question that Matt Smith had. I think he went and took a nap and come back or something.
Yeah.
But as far as the Maslow CNC is concerned,
I can hear it now.
I'm kind of
Right outside
a
the
believer
door.
in if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So I just won't say anything.
I followed it when they did their Kickstarter and stuff like that, and a little while after that, the thing that they've probably been able to tweak since then, because I think it's called something else now, isn't it? It's like Maker's Made or something like that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but they it was really precise in the middle of a 4x4 sheet of plywood, but as you started getting towards the outsides, it would get off by quite a bit, like as far as in dimensionally wise.
Is this the one with the bricks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one with the bricks.
So it seemed pretty cool. I mean, for
they were charging what, $500 or something like that.
I don't know if
as you
that
got
includes
closer
the
to the
bricks or if
edges,
you have to supply your own.
yeah, I think you have to supply your own.
I just, like I said, I know there's a lot of people that think that thing's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but when I first saw it, and you got bricks stacked on it, I think there's.
I would
it's hard for me to take it
use some
serious
sort of
when
a
I see
tensor or
the way it
something.
operates.
Yeah.
But that's me. What do I know?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
depending on gravity. You're depending on gravity, and gravity is just,
Gravity, what a concept. I'll catch you all later. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks
Hi, Mark.
thanks for helping me out tonight.
Have a good dinner.
You're welcome.
And then there were 3.
And now we got the vertical.
Yeah.
Gotta be up there.
I love playing around with this.
Yeah. There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this stuff. I want to thank all the folks. I know there's probably been a lot of folks come in and out. I know there's some folks that have watched and then left and come back and go, dang, you guys are still here. Because we hadn't really planned on this being almost 3 hours. I was just trying to test this out, but I'm pretty sure that this is probably going to be the format you see me in. Good night, Eloy. You're going to be seeing me use this. I don't even know that I'll ever use OBS again now because I don't really want to. I mean, I like the screen transitions and all the graphics and stuff you can do. It's pretty slick, but it's for a one-man show, and
the only thing that I would like to see, and I don't see that option, is to go full screen, because I'm showing the entire window, but I can't. I could go full screen by myself, or let me see. I don't even know how I did it before, but. Yeah, it's oh, here it is. It's on the set.
I had to laugh. Todd HC&C over there says there's a reason Haas doesn't use brakes. That's funny right there. Yeah. There's definitely a reason. I just think it's a gimmick myself. I can't take them seriously. I'm sorry.
It's interesting. I mean, the thought process behind the whole thing, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space because it's sitting up and all that stuff, and that's why they need the bricks to hold the bit down to the.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got to add so much weight to hold it in place, and
with gravity, I mean, how much weight do you add, and then you're actually putting unnecessary tension on the motors at that point. I mean, because for if you've got torque coming from a particularly large bit, enough to throw it off, you're going to have to get a bigger brick to offset it, which means you have to have bigger stepper motors. I mean, so you're limited in what you can do and how fast you can do it. Because you try, I mean, I know, I mean, you guys have all done hand routing before. You go really, really fast, that thing will take you everywhere. It's so imagine if you turn on the router and it's pulling up against the brick, and the brick's not heavy enough.
Yeah.
There's issues.
I just like how Javi's now looking up at us, Dave.
Yeah. Like you've got a ceiling mounted webcam or something.
Yeah, it is pretty much. It's here. I will show you. I am actually there is a. Okay, you're gonna love this contraption. This is for those of you with RVs. There's supposed to be a handle here to move the antenna, to turn it, to open it, and to turn it off. So right now there's a pair of pressure pliers. So I'm hanging it on it, and the best part is I'm not using this antenna because I built my own custom antenna. So I could turn it and face the camera in any direction that I want.
You could probably get Patrick to 3D print just a handle like that.
No doubt, no doubt. I gotta. In fact, I'm willing to bet there's probably, there's probably on Thingiverse a model already there.
We don't need Javi's bunghole camera. Please no.
No, definitely. I'll put it outside on the barrel. That'd be an interesting experiment. You get it, you attach it on the inside of the barrel, then you roll the barrel, and that thing will spin around, and in kind of like a Hobby's bunghole camera. Not what you think.
Yeah, let me answer a question here because. I have, not that anybody ever buys it, but I have all kinds of merchandise. I have, you can get mugs, you can get coffee cup, you can get the, what do you call them? The thing that Javi's got, kind of like those kind of things. I can't think of the name of them. You can get t-shirts.
Yeti cups. Yeti imitation Yeti cups.
I have shop, shop aprons and you can get them with GarageWorks CNC or Gatton CNC. I've got all kinds of stuff. Ball caps are popular, sweatshirts, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, nobody ever buys it, but I have it available. So. Patrick says we need more. We need more 3-hour shows. Dave 1 hour, CNC 1 hour, answering questions, and the rest is all BS all the time. This one's pretty much been 3-hour BS, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we have got a few serious moments in there, but I'm gonna
every now and then. Yeah, every now and then the community does this. On various hangouts. So you're just seeing our regular chat session, and with a little bit of question and answer thrown in for good measure.
Well, like I said, I appreciate everybody that's tuned in and watched and help me evaluate this new StreamYard. I have to keep looking at the name. I can't remember what it's called. StreamYard. And the only thing that I have not tried yet with this new stuff is to see if the end broadcast button works. So I'm about to try that. But anyway, thank you all for hanging around with my little test. Mark Lindsay, thank you for coming in, helping me out, and we know it'll work with at least 4 people now, so I'm a happy camper. This will now be my replacement for
streaming service.
Google Hangouts on air. Yeah, so somebody says, Thomas Grimm said, I just came in. Will this be in your YouTube series? Yeah, if you want to go rewatch 3 hours, good luck. But
kind of fun. Most of it was me putting Cokes in the fridge.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the evening, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging around. Thank you all for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I'm going to sign off. I'm going to hit that end broadcast button and see what happens. I'm assuming it's going to be like Hangouts and it will end the stream, but continue hear.
our conversation. Hopefully.
I would think. Anyway, good night, everybody.
See ya.
At all.
Everybody have a good week.